Time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mobley to Tilly to the cup. The lead. What a drive and finish by Tilly. 6 seconds left. 3, Burton for the win. The Buckeyes survive.
From the 35-yard line, Sanders on first down. Njoku is wide open. Instead, he goes deep to Fannin. Big play. Shedeur Sanders to Harold Fannin. A gain of 25. A loss of 9. Mitchell dropped it. Picked off. Devin Bush on the return. Bush still going. Touchdown. That is Andrews under center on 4th and 1. Andrews spinning away, and there he goes! Andrews all the way! Touchdown!
Lutz. He's already made 4 today. Lutz in the clutch, and the Broncos have won it.
And with that, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN. We are broadcasting live today from the Krassas Event Center at the St. Harlembus Church. Tonight is the 2025 Starr County Boys High School basketball preview dinner and program. And a little bit later on today, we're going to be catching up with some of the area head coaches and letting you hear what they've got on their mind as far as they get ready for a brand new season of high school hoops in the area. I understand there's still some tickets available, so if you want to come on by and join us tonight, the schedule of events, social hour begins at, let's see here, 5:30 this afternoon, and then you've got dinner goes at 6:30, and then the coaches panel will start at 7 o'clock tonight. Again, we are broadcasting live today from the Krassas Event Center at the St. Harlembus Church here on AM 1310 WDPN. Let's get some house cleaning items out of the way. You can always text the show at 330-924-7088. You can also click the link below to join the program today. There we are. I waved to everybody. Make sure that we're in good states here. So the text line is open. You can also listen and watch the show live today on AM 1310 WDPN on Facebook, on X, and of course the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We are going to be obviously talking a lot of Browns today, a lot of Shedeur Sanders. We will take a look at the NFL roundup for this past week. We will review the high school football playoffs that happened over the weekend. We are down to one team in the county, and it's the Massillon Tigers. They'll have to carry the banner coming up here as they were victorious again over the weekend, and they are now moved into the next round. The Tigers will play Sunbury Big Walnut at Salzburger Stadium in Zanesville coming up on Friday after the Tigers took care of Columbus St. Francis de Sales over the weekend. We kind of told you that was going to happen, and kind of told you it was going to happen relatively easily, and it did. So congratulations to Coach Nate Moore and the Tigers as they continue to march through the OHSAA playoffs. They'll be in action this Friday in Zanesville, and of course we'll have the game for you on Q92 Radio. Also want to shout out the teams that came up a little bit short over the weekend, the West Branch Warriors and East Canton Hornets and the Camp McKinley Bulldogs. Good runs by all three of those teams. Shout out to the Hornets, the Pups, and the Warriors, and Coach Renzi Parnell at McKinley. Coach Coop over at West Branch and Coach Spider over at East Canton. Great runs, everybody. And maybe next year get a little further. You never know. They'll get back to working here pretty soon with weightlifting and off-season conditioning. And before you know it, we'll be talking about 2-a-days getting ready to go. But we'll push that back because that's going to be a long way down the road. But congratulations to those schools and communities for a pretty good year of high school football. And again, congratulations and good luck to the Tigers this weekend as they will be in Zanesville to take on Sunbury Big Walnut, a team that they lost to last time they played them, remember? Over at Mansfield in the awful rain. And I think the Tigers jumped off sides like 50 times that night, and it was not a good night. Hopefully a little revenge for the Tigers coming up this weekend. We will take a look at the college football top 25 rankings. The Buckeyes are still 1. The Hoosiers are still 2. Alabama got knocked off over the weekend. We'll dive into that a little bit. Ohio State men's basketball team, a nice win against Notre Dame yesterday by 1 at the Schottenstein Center. They had just under 13,000 for the game. It's a pretty good crowd for Ohio State lately. And that game almost had like a tournament feel to it. It really did. It was a grinder. You had to be a man yesterday to play in that game, especially down in the paint. So congratulations to Coach Diebler and the Buckeyes. A big win over Notre Dame. And we will hear from Coach Diebler just a little bit. We'll take you inside the Buckeye locker room after that win yesterday. Cavs and Bucks tonight. Don't forget that game is on Peacock. It's on Peacock tonight. The Cavs in Milwaukee from Cleveland. That tip off a little bit after 7:30 tonight. Also, congratulations to the Mount Union Purple Raiders. Not only did they finish off another perfect season, another OAC championship, but the brackets came out yesterday, and the Purple Raiders got the news that they will have a bye coming up. And they will be in action not this Saturday, but the following Saturday and at noon, and that will be at the University of Mount Union, and we'll see who they go up against. Now, I've been trying to muddle through. I watched the selection show yesterday. It was on NCAA.com, and I watched when they read off the names, they read off the seeds, they read off the whole field of 40, who was going to get the bye, who was going to be at home, who was going to be on the road. And I'm still a little confused, but who got the overall number 1 seed? And maybe it doesn't even matter because the way the NCAA Division III kind of goes about their business with ranking teams and putting teams on brackets and talking about strength of schedule and rankings and regional rankings and home field and travel and cost. It all goes in to the blender, so to speak. So sometimes necessarily rankings don't mean anything. Sometimes records don't mean anything with the way they do that. But I've had a lot of people ask me, so what's the deal? Is Mount going to play North Central? Could that game possibly come in a semifinal? And the answer is yes, which I'm trying to figure out, and maybe I shouldn't even waste my time on it, but I'm trying to figure out why Mount Union and Indy and North Central were placed on the same side of the bracket. That's the first thing, because in the years past they have put them on opposite sides. Obviously, they thinking the NCAA committee that those were the best 2 teams, and they wanted them to meet in the championship game as opposed to meeting in a national semifinal. So I was a little perplexed about that. Number 2, is there a possibility Mount Union could play John Carroll in a round 3 game? And the answer is yes, because John Carroll and Mount Union were kind of put in the same area on the bracket, if you will. So that could come into play as well. So there's lots of unanswered questions about everything with the Division III championship playoff bracket, but that is posted. We posted that for you last night. You can take a look at it today and see what you think. But yeah, there's a lot of people wondering now if Mount would make it to the semifinals with the travel. would they have to go to what is it, Naperville, Illinois? That's where North Central is. So a lot of people are kind of questioning that. That I cannot answer. But I would assume, which is very dangerous to do. I would think and I would assume that the Purple Raiders would be able to host the whole way through. And the whole way through for them would be rounds 2, 3, and 4. And then there would be another bye week, and then the national championship would be at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. So just taking a quick peek at things right here, Mount Union is going to play the winner of Muhlenberg and Union, and that would be a second round game. John Carroll opens up against Randolph-Macon. So let's just say Mount beats Muhlenberg or Union, and John Carroll beats Randolph-Macon. Mount Union and John Carroll would play, in a third-round playoff game. And that would be, that would be very interesting. That would be coming up on December the 6th. And as this bracket, I'm looking at it now, you've got first round, second round, third round, quarterfinal, semifinal, and then national championship would be January 4th. That's a Sunday night at 8 o'clock at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. But it looks like that Mount Union would have to go through North Central to get there. So we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. But a lot of good questions yesterday about where Mount would go and a lot of other different things because I mean, everybody's feeling is you go 10-0. You had a really tough schedule. Both of the non-conference teams you played in the regular season are in the playoffs. We're talking about Grove City, and we're talking also about Wheaton. And then you had Ohio Northern, who was the first team out. They were like Team 41, so they almost got in, and Mount Union took care of them. So the strength of schedule, to me, says enough. I mean, the facilities speak for themselves. Overall, look at everything. I don't understand why, and I don't see why Mount Union would not host all the way through before they got the chance to maybe go play for the national championship at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. So we'll get into that as well. Don't forget Jeff Dart, University of Mount Union head coach, is coming up on Thursday for us at 3:35. Also out at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club today, former Camp McKinley Bulldogs and Ohio State Buckeyes Ronnie Stokes and Troy Taylor were there. If you missed that, you can absolutely go back and watch that on all of our social media platforms, 1310 WDPN, X, Facebook, Q92 Sports, and also the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. I put it up on my Facebook page as well, so you can go back and watch that talk today at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club. It was really cool. Really good speeches. Troy was at the podium for a little bit today. Ronnie Stokes was up at the podium most of the time. There was a really nice Q&A session when they were done. So if you want to go back and watch that, that is up right now on all of our social media platforms. Again, we're broadcasting live here today from the Krassas Event Center at St. Harlebus Church for the 2025 Stark County High School Boys Basketball Preview, and that will be coming up later. The coaches should be coming through here, hopefully, around 5:30 or so. We'll get as many of them on as we before we shut off at 6 o'clock. And then we'll talk about this a lot more tomorrow. But if you want to come on by, we'll be here. Social hour, 5:30, dinner 6:30, and the coaches panel gets underway at 7:30 tonight. Also, don't want to forget, we've got our poll question of the day, and you can take that right now on my Facebook page and drop your comments on our text line and all of our other social media platforms. As you know, Shedeur had a rough day yesterday. We'll go over the numbers here in a little bit. Attempts, completions, QB rating, it was not pretty. And a lot of folks kind of got caught off guard yesterday, maybe even Shedeur himself, because obviously he wasn't expected to play yesterday. He wasn't prepared to play yesterday, either himself or by the Browns. And Dylan Gabriel, allegedly concussion symptoms, so they took him out. They put Shedeur in, and away we went. But he did not have a good day yesterday. And our question is, who is most to blame for the performance of Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders yesterday? Who is most to blame? I didn't do a poll format, just a poll question. I mean, was Shedeur the most at fault? Was it Kevin Stefanski? Was it the Browns? Was it Andrew Berry? Was it? I mean, it could be a myriad of things. And I know that Shedeur's a grown man now. He's a big boy. He should be able to get ready and study and film, and he can't control the reps. But those numbers yesterday were bad. And let's just cut right to it. So I want to know. I want to ask you, who is most to blame for the performance of Shedeur Sanders yesterday? Get those comments in, and we will talk about them here this afternoon. So we've got lots to get to here on the show. We'll take our first break, and we'll come back with a lot more here on the Sam Bourquin Show, live from the Krassas Event Center, right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
The gift giving begins at DeHoff's Greenhouse and Landscaping's Christmas Open House Extravaganza, November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, the weekend before Thanksgiving. DeHoff's is exploding with Christmas gift ideas, and all Christmas decor is 25% off. DeHoff's is a great place for Christmas do-it-yourselfers. They have a large selection of quality silk pines, wreaths, roping, ribbons, and lovely decor at very reasonable prices. If you want DeHoff's to do the work, choose lots of beautiful wreaths, swags, arrangements, and more ready for you to take home. The most beautiful poinsettias you'll find are grown right here at DeHoff's Greenhouse. Get in the spirit of decorating and gift ideas at DeHoff's Holiday Open House, November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. DeHoff's is the place to be the weekend before Thanksgiving, an Alliance tradition for over 50 years.
Of all the ways to get ahead in life, we're one of them. And we're legal. The John Tesh Radio Show.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room.
You're just trying to be better. We're just trying to help. The John Tesh Radio Show.
Join me for music and intelligence for your life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's intelligence for your life.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car, and there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. Of course, you can watch and listen to us on all of our social media platforms today as we come to you live from the Krassas Event Center, part of St. Harlema's Church. Later on tonight, it'll be the 2025 Boys High School Basketball Preview. Text line is open for business, 330-924-7088, 330-924-7088. Sam Bourquin Show poll question today: who is most to blame for the performance of Shedeur Sanders yesterday in that Browns 23-16 loss to the Baltimore Ravens? By the way, the Browns are now 2-8 on the season, and right about where we thought they would be, right? If any of you are surprised, I, again, don't know what to tell you. We saw this coming. This is all part of the plan. Whether the plan sees its way through or not, whether you trust the people with the plan, I can't answer that, but this was how it was supposed to go. And you're right there. You're 2-8, and you might win You might win 2 more. I had the Browns going 4-13. I think I am right on schedule. I think I'm right on schedule with that. Who's the most to blame for Shedeur's performance yesterday? Mary says him, but they are a team. The stupid grin on his face is what upset me after the game. Ryan says this offense is awful. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. When Joel Bitonio is your best lineman, things are not going to go well. Our line is terrible. Wide receivers are terrible. It's not good. George says the offensive line also getting enough reps with the first team. Also, a lot of questions have been asked about, okay, what's the deal with reps for backups during the week in practice? And right or wrong, the answer is the starting quarterback gets them all. Basically gets every snap during the week with the number ones in preparation for that upcoming game. Now, there may be some circumstances where the backup may get a couple of snaps here and a couple of snaps there with the ones, but that's just the way it is. And right or wrong. Okay, so if that's the way it is, then my question would be, why is it that way? Do you have to give the starter every single snap during the week? Can't you give the backup some reps with the number ones? 5-10 snaps a day? I mean, come on. That I don't understand, but that's like the protocol for the NFL and the way they do it. It like begs the question we're doing a football game and say there comes up a 3rd down and 22. Well, nobody's got that in their playbook. Why not? Why wouldn't you have a 3rd and 22 in your playbook? You think that's never going to come up during a game? A 3rd and 20, a 3rd and 25? Why isn't it in the playbook? And I would say, why doesn't the backup quarterback get reps with the number ones during the week? You've got all week to get ready for a game. You mean to tell me you can't set aside 15 minutes a day and to give the backup quarterback some reps with the number ones? That I've really never understood. But we'll get into that as we move along here. We're going to take our break. News and weather coming up next, and more of the Sam Bourquin Show live on AM 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. The Department of War ordered Texas and California National Guard to return to their home states. The order is following intervention from judges who claim there was no justification for the middle Texas National Guard soldiers who were deployed to the Chicago area in October in response to violent protests and actions against ICE agents and facilities. Texas Governor Greg Abbott authorized the federal government to deploy the National Guard, which has been patrolling the nation's southern border during the border crisis. Britain says it's moving to change immigration refugee status to temporary while quadrupling the wait for permanent settlement to 20 years, under the most significant overhaul of policy in recent history, in an attempt to offset growing criticism from the populist policies, particularly on illegal small boat crossings from France. The British government said it would follow the approach of Denmark, which has some of the strictest immigration policies in Europe, where many nations have recently clamped down on their borders. Immigration officials removed a violent criminal from the country after a Milwaukee judge tried to help him escape. The Department of Homeland Security deported Eduardo Flores Ruiz Thursday following his April arrest at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. FBI officials assisted ICE agents during the operation after Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan directed officers away from a courtroom door. He was arrested a short time later. U.S. military took out another drug trafficking boat in the eastern Pacific, killing 3. The vessel was struck in international waters Saturday. The attack conducted by Joint Task Force Southern Spear, a counter-narcotics joint task, same day as the arrival in the Caribbean Sea of the USS Gerald R. Ford, which has more than 4,000 sailors and carries FA-18 Super Hornet fighter jets and long-range Tomahawk missiles. Newly released records from Jeffrey Epstein's estate expose exchanged text messages with Democratic Virgin Islands delegate Stacey Pleskett during 2019 testimony and that Epstein's real-time comments could have shaped some of the House Oversight Committee show Epstein closely following former Trump attorney Michael Cohen's February 2019 appearance before the congressional body. Timestamps, context, and alignment with live footage reviewed by the Washington Post indicate the recipient was Plaskett, a member of the panel questioning Cohen that day. The executor of the O.J. Simpson estate has accepted a negotiated claim with the father of Ron Goldman. Fred Goldman initially submitted a claim exceeding $117 million and offered $58 million. Goldman accepted. In the summer of 1994, police found Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman dead with multiple knife wounds outside Simpson's Brentwood home in Los Angeles. The executor told TMZ that the state intends to pay as much as it can with ongoing auctions of Simpson's possessions, some of which is memorabilia that's been stolen and attorneys are working to recover. 40 degrees at 3:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast.
Early Sunday afternoon, our high in the middle 40s under a mainly sunny and windy sky. Overnight still windy, partly cloudy, our low 29. I am RJ Weather from 3 News.
P10 WDPN, welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show as we broadcast live from the Krassas Event Center here at the St. Harlem Church. Later on today, it will be the 2025 high school basketball preview, Stark County. And shout out to the Men's Club of St. Harlem Church. They host this each and every year. They took a couple of years off a couple of years ago, but it's back and running, full steam ahead, just like the football dinner is. And remember, we were here for that. That was back in August, and I had a great time. Talked to some football coaches that night, and we're expecting to do the same thing here tonight. We'll be talking hoops. All right, some of the coaches will be coming by, and I was just looking at the coaches panel this year. We have, looks like we've got maybe 2 changes as far as the coaches are concerned. I run down the list of the coaches panel. You got Chet Harper from Alliance, Central Catholic's Matt Creamer, Lucas Conley from Canton South, Ryan McGonigal of East Canton, Joel Marliard of Fairless expected to be here tonight, Glen Oaks Rick Hairston, Hoover's Michael Bluey, Tim DeVebic from Jackson, Tommy Mack from Lake, Greg Bright from Lake Center Christian. New coach, there's one of them, David Wirtz for Louisville, taking over for Tom Siegfried this year. Josh Hose of Maslin, Sean Weatherspoon McKinley, Rich Hart of Minerva, also Northwest Mike Lauer, Matt Voll from Perry, Scotty Giamarco from St. Thomas, Nate Provence from Sandy Valley, and of course Ryan Brotherton from Tuslaw. And we'll try to get as many coaches on as we can before we wrap up here tonight at 6 p.m. Ryan Rainsberg is back in the studio today as I am on location here at the Krassas Event Center. So he'll be keeping those dials moving and keeping everything up nice and fresh up on our social media platforms on our broadcast today. As, boy, it's a chilly day today. Holy smokes. What we got? 40, I think 42, 43 for the high today. It is definitely chilly, and we're going to go down below 30 tonight. So tomorrow's going to be a little rough as well as we get ready to start the day. But speaking of rough, the Browns and Ravens yesterday, 23-17 the final. By the way, before we go any further, keep your prayers coming in for former Browns quarterback Bernie Kosar. Had his kidney transplant operation earlier today, and he is out and is stable right now. So hopefully everything went well or will go as well as expected. Bernie, we're thinking about you and praying for you, buddy. Bernie is out of a transplant operation for his kidney today, and he is currently in stable condition at the hospital. So keep your thoughts and prayers coming for him, because things were not looking really positive there for a little while. But my goodness, thank Thank the Lord. He got himself got a kidney, had the transplant. He was due to have it about 5 o'clock this morning, and just got out of surgery not too long ago. So keep your prayers and thoughts coming for number 19, Bernie Kosar. All right. So yesterday's game, 23-17 the final. Not shocked that the Browns lost. They were a 7.5-point dog. So they did they did cover the number. But it was a weird game because they had it was 3-3 after one, and then Cleveland got a pick six from Devin Bush, which you heard in the hour of the show open, and it was 16-10. It was 16-10 as a half. Nobody scored in the third quarter. Browns didn't score at all in the second half. Baltimore scored 13, and another one of the highlights that you heard was that crazy play by Andrews, as they looked like they were going to almost get in like the tush-push formation. And he gets the ball and runs right around the right end. They had Lamar lined up in the backfield. The snap went to him, to Andrews, and he chucked it right down into the end zone. And he's a big dude. But he went 35 yards for the score. And at that point, that made it 23-16. The Browns got the ball back, and you just knew that there was going to be nothing magical yesterday. Dylan Gabriel's numbers before the concussion symptoms, 7 of 10 for 68 yards. Lamar yesterday, 14 of 25 for $193. No touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So Lamar's quarterback rating yesterday was not very good. It was 47.6. Gabriel's was 88.7. Now let's enter Shedeur. 4 of 16, 47 yards. He got sacked twice, and he threw an interception. Obviously did not look ready to go. Obviously had no reps during the practice week, and obviously he looked a little shook out there, to be honest. You don't know when the quarterback's going to go down. You don't know when Dylan Gabriel was going to go down, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, 12, it's your call. It's your ball game. You need to go in there, and he did, and he completed his first couple of passes, and then man, he really struggled yesterday. And again, blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. Lack of preparation, lack of reps in practice, lack of working with the first team offensive line, lack of working with your number one backs, lack of working with your number one receivers. That all goes in there. But Shedeur's got to take it upon himself too. He's got to be accountable too. And we've been hearing stories for a long time. Not prepared. He's not in the front of the room. He's not in the playbook. Look, I'm not there. I can't tell you that one way or the other. But I do know that he did not look prepared at all yesterday in that game. And you don't know when that moment is going to come. You don't know. What is it? What's the golden rule of the backup quarterback? You are one snap away. You're one snap away from getting in the game. And you don't know when that's going to come. And it came yesterday, and obviously number 12 was not ready. He was not prepared. It didn't look like he was prepared physically. It didn't look like he was prepared mentally. And that's when you end up going 4 for 16. That's what happens. And our question today is, we're asking you, what's the biggest reason? Who's the most to blame for that performance of Shedeur? There it is right up on your screen there. Get those comments in and let us know. Why did he struggle as badly as he did? We have seen games this year. We have seen games over the years in the NFL where somebody gets knocked out, the backup guy comes in, does a pretty decent job. Because he knows where he's going with the ball. He knows what the receivers are doing. He knows the blocking schemes. He knows from film watching of the defense how they're lining up and what they might be scheming to do. I mean, Shedeur didn't look like he had been through any of that yesterday. That's what we're asking you. Well, who's to blame? What's the biggest reason he struggled yesterday? Dino says, well, let's see. The O-line condition. The offensive line is not very good for the Browns at all. You can blame Barry, you can blame Haslam, you can blame anybody you want. Take your pick. It's all a combined effort. A lot of talent on this. Well, I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot of talent on this team. I don't even know if I would go that far. But there is no talent right now on the offensive line. Tom says, Sam, go get Bill Callahan back. He would. That would be a good start to get our old offensive line coach back. That would be a good start. Jim says the front office, they're to blame. How many first-team reps has he taken since the preseason? My guess is 0. So the powers that he did not have him prepared for a top defense. Funny thing about our line is we spent years putting them together, paying them to stay, and now suddenly they are the reason that we stink. That's a couple of good comments there. Doug W. says a lot of this falls on the receivers. Route running, and also a couple of balls they probably should have caught last night. Wayne says, typical rookie quarterback. Anything else is up for debate. Ron says, Shedeur Sanders is the one to blame. He's just not that good. There's a reason he didn't get picked until the 5th round.
We had a call on the phone from Carla to answer it. She thinks that it's his dad's fault for babying him.
Yeah, that's another valid point. I should have. Well, that's why I didn't put that's why I didn't make this a multiple choice thing, because it's open for debate. Who is most at fault? And I forgot about Daddy Dion. That could be a problem to Carla. Excellent point. Thank you for calling it.
She thinks the coaches need to get on him and keep him in line.
Mike says the coaching staff, if you don't give any rookie reps, what would you expect behind that offensive line against that opponent? Yes, 100% agree there. Sean says, let's see here. If you don't make the play, it's a... Bill says it's the coaches because they don't prepare him at all since training camp. And that's where I keep going back to. What's the deal? Like we know what the quote unquote protocol is in the NFL. And remember Luke McCown? He was like a career backup in the NFL. He actually got on Twitter today and said, for all of you wondering how it works during the week, as far as who gets reps, who gets to go up with the 1s, the 2s, he says backups just don't get any reps at all. And again, okay, I'll go with that. But my thought is, look, if you are one snap away from your starter going down, why in the hell wouldn't you give your backup a couple of reps with the 1s during the week, just in case? It's the NFL. Guys get hurt all the time. Look what happened to Aaron Rodgers yesterday. He might have a fractured left wrist. Look what happened to Michael Penix. He might be done for the year. Why would you not give a kid some reps in practice during the week with the number 1s?
Especially because he's a rookie.
Right, and you moved up to draft him. Somebody did. Somebody did in that building. I don't know who. I think I know who. Jimmy. But why wouldn't you? This is foolishness not to give a backup quarterback reps during the week. I don't understand that. And look, I know Dylan Gabriel's a rookie, so I'll give you some of that. But like when Flacco was here, why would you not give the backups some work during the week? Joe Flacco's freaking 40 years old. He doesn't need every rep in practice getting ready. He doesn't. Why wouldn't you give some of those reps to the guys behind him, just in case something happens? And that just in case happened yesterday. Dylan Gabriel goes out. All of a sudden, it's Shedeur's turn. Did he look ready to you? Did he look prepared to you? Not to me. Didn't look ready for me at all. And I've got to put some of the blame on him too. But I'm gonna put most of it on the organization, the way they've handled him and brought him along, because for a guy that allegedly was wanted and moved up to get in the draft. They have. I just put it this way: they have done him no favors. And look, maybe he was a pain in the butt when he came in. Maybe he's a bad apple in the locker room. Maybe he's a bad apple in the film room. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? That's why these coaches and these coaching staffs that have seemingly and just unlimited amount of coaches, they must hand out coaches shirts in the NFL like they're water. Hey, you want a coach? You want a coach? You want a coach? You want a coach? You want a shirt? Come on, we'll take you. Get on my payroll, buddy. Come on. Certainly, there's enough people there on the staff that you could get him some reps during the week. That's just my opinion. You've got a week to get ready for an opponent. You play on Sunday. You're usually Monday. You come on. You get treatment. You watch film. You do a press conference or two, and that's it. Tuesday, you usually don't come in. That's an off day. You come back for the work week on Wednesday to get prepared for the game on Saturday. So you mean to tell me between Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, especially if you're at home because you're not traveling, why you wouldn't give your backup quarterback 5, 10, 15 reps with the number ones? You've got all week to do it. And if you're going to blame it on, well, our starter is a rookie too, he needs as many reps as everybody else, I'll listen to that argument. But they weren't doing that earlier in the year. And apparently hardly any other NFL teams do it either. So I guess if you're a 15-year vet like Brady and Rodgers and Roethlisberger and guys like that, apparently they needed to have every single rep in practice that week, and they couldn't give it to the number 2 guy. That makes no sense to me, but if that's the way they do it in the NFL, then that's the way they do it. But our question today: who is most to blame for that terrible performance yesterday by Shedeur Sanders? Text line open 330-924-7088, and you can also leave those comments on our Q92 YouTube channel and on my Facebook and X pages as well. We are going to step away as we broadcast live here from the Krassas Event Center on this chilly Monday. Don't forget the 2025 high school boys basketball Stark County preview is coming up later today. Social hour 5:30, dinner at 6:30, and the coaches panel at 7:30. We hope to get some coaches on between 5:20 and 6 o'clock tonight here on the show. There's the program. There's the cover. You can see that there. All that coming up a little bit here tonight at the Krassas Event Center. In the meantime, we will take a break here on the Sam Bourquin Show, and we'll return on AM 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
How's Tommy doing now?
Much better.
You said it was asthma?
Yeah, he started with this cough and then he was wheezing.
That's terrifying.
Doctor said hidden triggers can make it worse. Things like dust, mold, even pests.
Pests?
Yeah, droppings and allergens from cockroaches and rodents can seriously impact children with asthma or allergies.
I had no idea.
We're making sure our home stays pest-free.
Don't let pests put your family's health at risk. Visit pestworld.org to learn more. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it! I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, 1310 WDPN. And, of course, we are streaming live. You can check us out on our 1310 WDPN Facebook page, our X page, and the Q92 YouTube channel. We come to you live from the Krassas Event Center today here on 1310 WDPN. Again, keep your thoughts and prayers coming in for Bernie. Had his liver transplant earlier today. He is out and in stable condition at the hospital. And keep those thoughts and prayers coming for Bernie Kosar. All right, we got about 6 minutes till the top of the hour. I did want to play a couple of cuts for you, so I'll have Rainsburg get these ready to go. First is going to be Rex Ryan from Get Up on ESPN talking about the performance of Shedeur Sanders yesterday. And we're also going to play a cut from Ian Rappaport as well. But I want to get to Rex Ryan's comments first. This was on ESPN's Get Up, talking about Shedeur Sanders and why yesterday happened and what the reason may have been.
No, 100%, Greeny. And when you see that, this young man, like, I don't know whose fault it is. Is it this kid's fault for some reason? Or is it the organizations, have failed this guy? Look, number one, my biggest question is, you traded up to get this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly you think he has the talent to play the position.
Someone does, yes.
Why hadn't he had a chance? He has no reps with the ones. We understand that, right? That's what the line's saying. That, to me, how the hell does that happen? All right? And then the other thing is, Shedeur, he's got to get over himself, too. Like, like he's there by himself on the bench.
At the end of the game.
I've seen it in the seventh game of a World Series when you lose a game or whatever. This is a pillow fight game. Nobody cares.
He cares.
Sit back.
He cares.
Yeah. Did he care? Or are you trying to make it a show and make it about yourself? You got a guy over there that, by the way, is a two-time MVP. Right there, Lamar Jackson. He was looking for you. He was looking for you right there. Why don't you share a moment with him? All right? All right, share a moment with Lamar. He's looking all over for you. Then get in there with your teammates. These are your teammates. All right? These are your teammates. And talk about, I'm not comfortable losing. You think anybody in that locker room is? They better not be. Okay? But I want to see, is it Shedeur or is it the coach? Who the hell's at fault here? Because there's a disconnect. To me, there's 100% a disconnect. Now, look, I want to see.
Now, there was Rex Ryan on ESPN Get Up. He was talking about the disconnect there. Why the disconnect? Who's to blame? And that's the $1 million question. I mean, how do you talk about a 4 for 16 performance and your QB rating was like 25 yesterday? Obviously, he was not prepared. He was not ready to go. Now, we don't know what's going on next week yet. We don't know about Dylan Gabriel. He is still in concussion protocol. I'm going to guess that Shedeur will probably start next week. We will hear from Kevin Stefanski. He will actually address that question and more coming up. We're going to play some of his press conference for you coming up here a little bit after 4 o'clock. Now, I also want to play for you a cut from Ian Rappaport This was earlier today on X, and he kind of gives the latest on the Browns and Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel and concussion protocol and a little more information. Here's Ian Rappaport from earlier today.
Okay, my bad, Sam. I did not have that one on my list, so I apologize. That is my bad.
Oh, okay. So you do not have it then?
I do not have that one. I'm not sure if that didn't send or I double checked.
Okay, I will go back.
I forgot to tell you.
I will go back during the 4 o'clock break and see if I can track that down. But going back to what Rex said, I mean he's been pretty vehement talking about this whole Shedeur Sanders situation. Anyhow, the last 3-4 weeks, and kind of like putting half the blame on him. He says he had heard that maybe Shedeur was not being the most studious inside the walls of Berea. Wasn't being the pros pro, so to speak. So look, when we're not there, we don't know, and it's very selective what the media gives to us, gives to you, and a lot of time that stuff isn't 100% truthful either. So when you're really not there to see with your eyes and hear with your own ears, you really don't know. So, but gosh, I just know I know I know a quarterback when I see it when he's not prepared, and it just certainly looked like Shedeur was not ready. And then at the end of the game, did you see him sitting on the bench when the game was over? Had his head in his hands, and he just looked like, he. I don't know. And then you had Lamar looking for him on the field. Probably wanted to, shake hands with him and wish him good luck, and maybe even could have had some good words of wisdom for him. But Shedeur was just kind of sitting on the bench and kind of let the moment eat him up a little bit, and that's also something he's going to have to learn from as well. All right, we're coming up on 4 o'clock. We got the news coming up with Jeff Mears from the AM 1310 WDPN newsroom. We'll get you the national news, the local news. We'll get you all the weather, and we'll come back after that and get you ready for hour 2 here of the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN as we broadcast live from the Krassas Event Center here at the St. Barnabas Church tonight. The 2025 high school basketball preview for all the Stark County teams, and we'll get into that a little bit later on as well. So stay with us, 1310 WDPN.
An Alliance tradition for over half a century. You can always count on WDPN Alliance.
That if passed would compel the Justice Department to release the full Jeffrey Epstein files. President Trump, who was fighting the release days ago, now supporting the vote. At the White House, the president asked today if he would sign the bill if it passed.
We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because, honestly, I don't want to take it away from us.
ICE agents carrying out operations in Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend with at least 80 people detained across the city. The Trump administration did not signal when the operation would be complete. And the Supreme Court says it will consider the Trump administration's bid to reinstate a policy of turning back asylum seekers at border crossings, in effect preventing them from applying for protection inside the U.S. before they would cross the border. The lower courts have declared the policy unlawful and blocked enforcement. This is ABC News.
Macy's just dropped tons of new Black Friday deals. And with more being added every week, you can save on everything you need for the holidays. Like festive dinnerware for 60% off, women's designer looks for 30 to 50% off, and men's suits, blazers, and more for 50 to 70% off. So come into Macy's, beat the rush, and get your holiday shopping done early. Black Friday starts here at Macy's. Savings off select styles. Exclusions apply.
At Bank of America, we asked our people, how do you take ownership of your career?
I'm able to grow my way by putting the priorities that I have for my career first.
I thrive on being a leader who's behind the team, not in front of the team.
Every few years, I'm being re-energized because I get to do something different and learn something new.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers at bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Here's the latest Alliance area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. Plain Township trustees Friday voted unanimously to hire Howard Hirschberger as fire chief. He succeeds Charles Schalenberger, who will become the township's full-time zoning director. Hirschberger has been a battalion chief since 2012. 5 candidates applied for the chief's position. Schalenberger has served as interim zoning director since the retirement of Tom Ferrara in July. Both men will start their new jobs December 21st. Carroll County officials hope a study to determine the best way to connect Carrollton and Canton will begin within a year. The Ohio Mideastern Governments Association granted Carroll County $250,000 to complete the study. County Commissioner Robert Werkner told the repository the county is one of the only ones in the state without any 3 or 4 lane highway. He says the study will look at other options and determine what makes the most sense to connect Carrollton to Route 30. The road is 2 lanes, which causes backups during peak driving times. Stark Parks will continue to seek grants for the updating of facilities at Quail Hollow Park in Lake Township. Park District has begun raising funds for the project to coincide with the 100th anniversary of the Stewart Manor House in the park in 2029. Several organizations have already contributed, including the Lemon and Paul and Carol David Foundations and Stark Community Foundation's Charitable Fund. Planned improvements include new restrooms, accessible parking area, and renovation of the carriage house into an accessible space for park and public use. A judge in Columbiana County will decide whether to allow cell phone tracking evidence in the upcoming murder trial of William Long. He's accused of killing 50-year-old Michelle Long outside her Butler Township home. His trial now scheduled to begin February 3rd. Salem News reports defense attorneys say prosecutors plan to use a mapping program to show Long's phone near the scene of his ex-wife's November 2023 shooting. They argue the software is unreliable and lacks scientific validation. Prosecution says the data has been used in other cases, including in Columbiana County. An East Liverpool man was charged with criminal trespass by the Columbiana County Drug Task Force. Justin Barrett faces additional charges pending the results of lab tests. Task Force members and East Liverpool police reportedly found suspected crack cocaine residue and paraphernalia consistent with drug trafficking during the Wednesday raid of a Metropolitan Housing Authority home at 1618 Park Avenue. Barrett was arrested before the raid. Ohio BCI investigating an officer-involved shooting in Trumbull County. Sheriff's deputies and the Highway Patrol responded just after 5 Friday morning for a reported domestic incident. Witnesses reported a man with a gun in the roadway on Route 534 in Southington. Sheriff's office says shots were fired. The suspect was hit. He was taken to University Hospital in Ravenna, where he later died. Victim was not identified. No other details were released. One of 2 Mahoning County men charged with possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance has pleaded guilty. 21-year-old Jonathan Streb was indicted in July, along with 22-year-old Javon Thomas. The indictment said on December 9th, 2022, the men had cocaine, fentanyl, and methamphetamine. Thomas also had a semi-automatic rifle. His case is pending. Streb served a 1-year sentence beginning in July 2024 for separate drug cases. He'll be sentenced February 25th in U.S. District Court. Valorec is reporting profits of over $243 million in the third quarter, which included higher prices for its products and solid demand from U.S. customers. French supplier of specialized steel tubes credited a sharp jump in its main tube business for the strong results. CEO Philippe Guimont says market response to higher tariffs will lead to a drop in imports, which currently make up about 40% of the U.S. supply. A Trumbull County grand jury has indicted a man also accused in a February murder in Cleveland. 50-year-old John Armstrong faces counts including aggravated murder, felonious assault, kidnapping, gross abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and having weapons under disability in the death of 46-year-old Juvar King of Warren. He's in the Cuyahoga County Jail awaiting trial. Cuyahoga County grand jury also indicted 28-year-old Nathaniel Crockett of Cleveland in connection with the case. Armstrong was indicted Thursday on charges of burglary and gross sexual imposition in connection with an unspecified July incident. Cincinnati Fire Department says a person is dead after a brush fire in Clifton. Firefighters received a call just before 8 Sunday evening for a report of a fire behind a detached garage at the home. First responders found some of the brush on the property had caught fire. They then discovered a deceased individual located nearby, suffering from significant burns. The circumstances remain unknown, though. CFD says the incident is being investigated by Cincinnati police as a possible homicide. The victim has not yet been identified. 40 degrees at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000. It's going to be a windy afternoon, gusts above 30 miles per hour at times, mainly sunny and a high of 44 degrees. Overnight, partly cloudy, windy, and colder, a low near 29. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, Meatball!
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mobley to Tilly to the cup. And the lead. 6 seconds left. 3, Burton for the win.
From the 35-yard line, Sanders on first down. Njoku is wide open. Instead, he goes deep to Fannin. Big play, Shedeur Sanders to Harold Fannin, a gain of 25. A loss of 9. Mitchell dropped it, picked off. Devin Bush on the return. Bush still going. Touchdown. That is Andrews under center on 4th and 1. Andrews spinning away, and there he goes. Andrews all the way. Touchdown.
Lutz. He's already made 4 today. Lutz in the clutch, and the Broncos have won it.
And another wild weekend, and we are here right now, AM 1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, hour 2 of 3, as we come to you, not from the studio today, you can probably tell that. We are broadcasting live today from the Krassas Event Center here, part of the St. Harlow's Church tonight. It's the men's club hosting the 2025 high school boys basketball preview, and doors will be opening up here in about an hour and a half or so. Social hour gets underway at 5:30, dinner at 6:30, and the coaches panel tonight will go at 7:30. And we're hoping to get some coaches on today between 5:20, 5:25, and 6 o'clock. We'll see how many we can get in here for you as we get you ready for a big high school basketball season coming up this year. It'll be here before you know it. It'll be here before you know it. Stark County football-wise, we're down to one team. The Massillon Tigers have advanced to round 3 of the OHSAA high school football playoffs. So congratulations to Coach Moore and the Tigers as they took care of business against Columbus DeSales over the weekend. And they will get ready for Sunbury Big Walnut now coming up this Friday night at Salzburger Stadium in Zanesville as the Tigers look to keep it moving in the 2025 playoffs. Do want to give a little shout out to the teams that made it all the way to last week and just came up a little bit short. Coach Renzi and the Camp McKinley Bulldogs. Shout out to Coach Spider in East Canton and Coach Coop in West Branch as their seasons unfortunately came to an end this weekend as far as the playoffs were concerned. But those teams had phenomenal seasons, and looking for more out of them next year. So the Massillon Tigers, once again, will be carrying the Stark County flag, the banner, if you will, in hopes of getting a state championship. And it all happens again on Friday, as the Tigers will be in Zanesville to take on Sunbury Big Walnut, a team that beat them, remember, last year over at Arlen Field in Mansfield. So good luck to the Tigers. All right, we got lots of stuff to get to here. We'll recap the Browns-Ravens 23-16. The Ravens win. Big story was Shedeur Sanders, the 4 of 16 performance. It was not very good. Our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day: who is most to blame for Shedeur's performance yesterday? Who should accept most of the blame? I know it's not going to go all on him. It's not going to go all on the coaches. It's not going to go all on the offensive line. But in your mind, after watching the game yesterday and watching his 16 snaps from center, who is the most to blame for his performance yesterday? Drop your comments on all of our social media platforms. And yes, you can always text those in at 330-924-7088. We will also...
You could call like Carla has been, because she is very fired up about the whole thing.
So where is Carla?
She did not say. She
Oh,
said,
no. I wondered if she was. I got broken up with the internet. Is she actually on the phone, or she just called in again?
Oh yes, yeah. She's calling the studio to tell me how she feels.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Where was I? Oh, so the Browns fall 23-16. Quick trip around the NFL yesterday. Dolphins beat the Commanders in Spain 16-13. Imagine that, another close overtime game in a game out of the country. Funny how that works out, doesn't it? Jacksonville beat the Chargers 35-6. Buffaloes beat the Buccaneers 44-32. Bills over the Bucks 44-32. Josh Allen, 6 touchdowns for Buffalo yesterday. Bears in our walk-off beat the Vikes 19-17. Packers beat the Giants 27-20. Texans beat the Titans in a walk-off 16-13. Panthers beat the Falcons in a walk-off 30-27. You're seeing a pattern here. Steelers beat the Bengals 34-12. But the big news, maybe Aaron Rodgers may have a broken wrist, a broken bone in his wrist. We'll see. Niners beat the Cardinals easily 41-22. Rams over the Seahawks 21-19. And then, of course, the Broncos beat the Chiefs 22-19. In the Sunday night game, Philly over the Lions 16-9. And I put a post up on Facebook last night, and I said, are we watching the demise of the Kansas City Chiefs right now? Folks, they're 5-5. They're 5-5. They're third in the AFC West. Denver is 9-2 now, and they are number 1 in the AFC West. Kansas City, I don't know. They only scored 6 points in the first half yesterday. I know Denver's got a pretty good defense, but you're talking, Mahomes and Kelsey and Kareem Hunt and Andy Reid, and they just look. I'm not going to say they're completely cooked, because I just even at 5-5, I can't count that team out. Mahomes yesterday, 29 of 45 for 276, a touchdown and a pick. Kareem Hunt, 13 for 59. That was it as far as the running game was concerned. Kelsey, 9 for 91 and a touch. Thornton caught 1 for 61. Rice, 6 for 38. Xavier Worthy, 3 for 25. They're not getting much. They're not getting much out of that offense, and I just kind of wonder his time kind of caught up with Kansas City. We'll see. I'm not gonna bury them. I'm not gonna bury them just yet. The NFL game tonight. Mini Christmas. What a stinker. The Dallas Cowboys 3-5-1 at the 2-7 Las Vegas Raiders. Yep, that is your Monday night football game tonight out in Vegas. So there you go. Thank God the Cavs are playing the Bucs tonight. That's at 7 o'clock in that ball game. Don't forget, is on Peacock tonight. The Cavs and the Bucks on Peacock, 7 o'clock tonight from Rocket Arena up in Cleveland. Also, congratulations to the Mount Union Purple Raiders as they have received their assignment, if you will, as far as the NCAA Division III college football playoffs are concerned. The Purple Raiders, they were actually the first team named yesterday on the when they had the NCAA selection show. They were the first team called. The Purple Raiders, of course, 10-0. They will have a bye, and they will play the winner of Muhlenberg or Union coming up not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. And there is a path here now. If the Raiders and John Carroll make it to round 3, they would play against each other. Also, if you have not seen the brackets, those are posted on Facebook. You can check that out on our social media platforms. I believe I put it up on X as well. You can see the entire Division III playoff brackets. Mount Union is on the same side of the bracket as North Central from Illinois. Now, I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. So you're going to basically have a national championship game maybe played 2 weeks before in the national semifinals. So I've reached out to a couple of folks from D3 football and from a couple of podcasts, and I want to try to get them on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week to kind of go through the brackets, what the decision making was there, and maybe what we can expect as we move forward. So the Purple Raiders have a bye this Saturday. They'll be back in action the following Saturday at home against either Union College or Muhlenberg. So we'll get into that later on this week as well. And don't forget, we will be joined by the head football coach of the Purple Raiders, Jeff Dart. He'll be joining us Thursday at his usual time of 3:35. I checked in with Nate Larisha at the press box after the game on Saturday, and he believes Coach Dart will be good to go with us on Thursday. So lots of stuff going on today. We're here at the Krassas Event Center getting ready for the high school basketball preview a little bit later on. Do want to keep the prayers coming in for Bernie Kozar. He had his liver transplant earlier today. He is out and in stable condition, and hopefully he will get better and better and better as each and every minute passes by. Also, got to shout out Ronnie Stokes and Troy Taylor, former Bulldogs and basketball Buckeyes. They were the featured speakers today at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club. And if you missed any of that today, you can go back and watch and listen to that entire program in its entirety on the 1310 WDPN Facebook page, our Q92 Sports Facebook page, YouTube, and X. And it's up on my Facebook page as well if you want to go back and watch some of that. Troy and Ronnie did a spectacular job today, and it's always good to see those guys back here in the Hall of Fame city. All right, we're going to step out and take a break. The text line is open. Don't forget 330-924-7088 as we continue our broadcast here from the Krassas Event Center. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a Monday, and it is chilly. AM 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
America, our military is sacrificing for our freedom. Please take time to remember our men and women fighting overseas. This salute, courtesy of Diamond in the Rough Property Solutions, serving our community with dependability and excellence. For all of your residential and light commercial remodeling needs, call the professionals at 330-763-0089, 330-763-0089. Diamond in the Rough Property Solutions, reminding everyone that we live in the land of the free, thanks to the brave.
Kids across America are going to school hungry every day. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
The T10 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Shows. We broadcast live from the Krassas Event Center here, St. Harlambus Church tonight in the high school basketball preview. We should start seeing some of the coaches coming up here, hopefully in about an hour or so. We'll see how many we can squeeze in before we end here at 6 o'clock. We'll be back in studio tomorrow. Don't forget, 3 o'clock right here on 1310 WDPN and all of your favorite social media platforms. Text line open as well. If you're watching on the screen, there it goes. Text me, 330-924-7088. Any comments or words of wisdom, Rainsburg, from the social media platforms that I can't get to that we should put out there?
Absolutely. We have a text from Buck about the question today. He says, all the blame goes on the organization of the Browns' handling of both rookie QBs and the roster.
I would go with that.
I think all of them are actually, yes, all of them are about the poll question today, so I'll put that up. Mark says the coaches are directly to blame. However, the blame is ultimately on the Haslam experiment. It's a joke. Sanders' press conference yesterday was just strange. That's Donald on Facebook. And Mick on YouTube says Kevin and Barry need to be fired. No questions asked. So thank everybody for the comments.
Yeah, keep those comments coming in. Rainsburg will rip them and read them, and we'll comment off of those. But we appreciate you dropping those comments for us on 1310 WDPN, X, Twitter, Facebook, and, of course, the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. When you're the backup quarterback in the NFL, and I guess I could use this for every level, but I'm going to keep it at the NFL because that's what we're discussing here. It's always the next man up, right? It's always you are one snap, one play away from getting in the game. And remember, there's 32 NFL teams. There are only 32 starting quarterbacks. You're the best of the best of the best. But when somebody goes down and somebody gets hurt, and it's on you, like you knew you were the next man up this week. You've known you were going to be the last man, or the next man up since Joe Flacco was dealt to the Bengals. But again, if it still is the same rule of thumb in the NFL, and I assume that it is, as far as the practice time, how the snaps are divvied up, basically the backup quarterback during the week gets no reps with the number ones. Basically none. And look, if that's the NFL rule, that's the NFL rule. It doesn't mean you have to follow it, though. Like, if I was Stefanski, I would be giving Shedeur Sanders some reps during the week in case something crazy happens like it did to Gabriel yesterday, and you got to go down the bench and say, okay, 12, you're in. Are you ready? Remember what we worked on this week. Remember what we practiced. Remember your progressions. Remember our scheme. Remember looking across the line at this other side and seeing who's playing where. Make sure you can get that all going when you get up to the line of scrimmage. You're in the shotgun position. It's all the pre-snap stuff. He didn't look like he was ready at all for that. And look, Shedeur Sanders can't go out there on the practice field during the week with 21 other ghosts and get meaningful reps during practice in preparation for a game. So to me, if that's the NFL rule, then sometimes you need to break that rule within your organization and give the guy some snaps during the week. You just have to. Look, you're not going anywhere anyway. And we've known this before the year even started. You're not going anywhere as a team. You're 2-7, 2-8. You're not going to beat Las Vegas. And at that point, look, if you need to let this guy get his hands dirty and practice a little bit, and get some reps with the number ones, if he is the backup. We're gonna hear from Coach Kevin Stefanski coming up after the 4:30 break, in which he is asked about who the starting quarterback is going to be for next week, and he said if Dylan comes through the protocol, okay, then he's going to be your starting quarterback. Now, we've seen how concussion protocols go. Sometimes it lasts a couple of days, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's 2 or 3 weeks. But let's just say that thing goes and he passes all the tests, and you better give Shedeur some reps during the week in practice. Because what's the one kind of rule of thumb about concussions? Once you get your first one, sometimes, unfortunately, they start to happen a little bit more frequently. Just like Tua, just for instance. Then you really got to be careful there. Now, if things don't go all right with the protocol and Dylan Gabriel cannot give it a go, then Shedeur will get all the reps in practice this week, and then we'll see what he looks like when he goes out to play the Raiders on Sunday. But it's a very fine line there. We'll hear from Coach Stefanski coming up here in a little bit. Also found that cut from Ian Rappaport, and we're going to play that for you as well. Don't forget, later on today, we're going to catch up with some of our area high school basketball coaches as we are broadcasting live from the Krassas Event Center here at the St. Barnabas Church. It's the 2025 high school basketball preview coming up a little bit later, and we'll get into that. We'll check out the AP College Top 25. We'll tell you about the Massillon Tigers' upcoming weekend in Zanesville and a whole lot more coming up here on the Sam Bourquin Show. 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. President Trump revised the scope of his tariffs Friday, scrapping levies on several grocery staples in an effort to address mounting concerns about stubbornly high food prices. Executive order said updated recommendations and progress on trade talks made it necessary and appropriate to further modify the scope of goods subject to the duties. White House fact sheet accompanying the order says certain qualifying agricultural products will no longer be subject to the tariffs, such as certain food not grown in the United States. Affected items include coffee and tea, tropical fruits and fruit juices, cocoa and spices, bananas, oranges and tomatoes, beef, and additional fertilizers. Federal manhunt resulted in the arrest of a 51-year-old man accused of attacking the office of acting U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba. Keith Lisa was taken into custody Saturday morning. According to authorities, he was in possession of a baseball bat when he showed up Wednesday at the Peter Rodino Federal Building in Newark, New Jersey. According to a wanted poster, after being denied entry, he discarded the bat and returned. Once inside, he proceeded to the U.S. Attorney's office where he damaged government property. Poster warned the individual was 6'3" and more than 200 pounds and should be considered dangerous. He made it to the 7th floor and began shouting and destroying property, according to the New York Post. Baba was not in her office at the time. President Trump urging Republicans to vote to release the remaining Jeffrey Epstein files. The president said House Republicans should vote to publish the files because we have nothing to hide. The president previously lobbied to prevent the remaining documents from being released after 23,000 were published last week. Files were said to represent less than 1% of the evidence the government had collected about Epstein. The president has denied any knowledge or involvement with Epstein's sex trafficking or abuse of underage girls and has not been accused by any of the parties involved. More than 100 Republicans expected to support the release of the remaining files. House Speaker Mike Johnson confirmed he would hold a vote this week. Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected creation of a Palestinian state ahead of a UN vote on a Gaza plan. The U.S. endorsed resolution, which follows the ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel, provoked outrage amongst the Israeli prime minister's allies. Addressing his cabinet Sunday, Netanyahu said our opposition to a Palestinian state in any territory west of the Jordan is existing, valid, and has not changed. Sunday, other ministers expressed opposition to Palestinian statehood, but without commenting on the UN vote. New report reveals Adriana Kugler stepped down in August following an ethics probe into trading violations. Senior Fed officials are prohibited from trading individual stocks. Kugler's parent violations came after a string of trading moves by Fed officials in 2020 during the coronavirus pandemic drew scrutiny, which ultimately led to the resignation of 3 top officials in 2021 and 22, including former Vice Chair Richard Clarida. As a result, the Fed tightened its conflict of interest rules to bar top officials from owning most assets. Kugler, an appointee of former President Biden, joined the central bank in 2023. Her term was scheduled to expire at the end of January. 37 degrees at 4:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
44 chilly degrees for the high today. That's going to do it. It's going to be windy and mainly sunny all day long. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy, still blustery with a low near 29. I am RJ Weather from 3 News.
AM 1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show as we broadcast live from the Krassas Event Center today for the 2025 high school, Stark County High School boys basketball preview. That's dinner coming up later, the social hour, and of course, the coaches panel. We'll try to get as many coaches on as we can between 5:20 and 6 o'clock. My guy Brian Beatty is going to be joining me here in a little bit. We'll talk a little football and some hoops, and he'll be running the coaches over and getting some photos for us and recording some things for us. I really appreciate Brian helping out here today, and looking forward to when he joins us here on the program. All right, before we get to Kevin Stefanski and before we hear from Ian Rappaport, I don't want to forget about this again today. Sammy's best bet. And so far, we are 2-1 on the season. We do this Monday through Friday at 4:29. Had to get the break before the news, so we didn't have time to get that in. But you don't want to miss this now. Every afternoon, 4:29 at Sammy's Best Bet. We are 2-1 on the season. Our last best bet was Friday night, and we have the Oregon Ducks at home, minus 25.5 against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And the Ducks came through for us and covered the number, so we are 2-1 so far on the season. Tonight's best bet, we are going to go to the NBA, and the Cleveland Cavaliers are taking on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight up at Rocket Arena. And don't forget, this is a Peacock game tonight. But I looked at the number, I looked at the total, and the Cavaliers are given 7.5 to the Bucks. The total is 235.5. Bucks have lost their last game. The Cavs won their last game. Milwaukee 5-5 in their last 10. The Cavaliers are 6-4 in their last 10, and Cleveland, more importantly, is 5-2 at home. But I looked at the scoring. Both these teams, the Bucks average 118.2 a game. The Cavaliers are 118.4. Both have been known to give up some points this year, and I think you could see a lot of fouls tonight and a lot of free throws with the clock stopped. And therefore, I am going to lean on and give you Sammy's best bet tonight. We're going to go with the Cavs Bucks over the total of 235 and a half. Over the total, 235 and a half tonight, Cavs and Bucks. That's Sammy's best bet. You'll get that Monday through Friday here on the show, 1310 WDPN. And as always, good luck to you and to me. All right. Before we get to Coach Stefanski, I want to play the cut from Ian Rappaport. We heard earlier from Rex Ryan from ESPN's Get Up. Here's Ian Rappaport now on what happened yesterday with the Browns and the Ravens and Shedeur Sanders and where the club goes from here. Here's Ian Rappaport.
That's why we have Ian Rappaport coming to us. Ian, Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, the Browns have a bad record, but they're still intriguing. Tell us what the deal is.
Yeah, and they're about to get a little more intriguing. We'll start with the health situation. Dillon Gabriel suffered a concussion this past Sunday, knocked him out of the game, which is why Shedeur Sanders was playing in the second half. And every player is different, and the way every player responds to a concussion is different. And we'll see how Gabriel progresses through the protocol this week. But we've seen plenty of quarterbacks take really hard hits, miss a week or maybe miss 2 weeks, and able to come back. That certainly leaves a door open for Shedeur Sanders playing on Sunday. And yes, there was a lot of discussion, mostly online, about how this backup quarterback who began the year as a third-string quarterback didn't get any first-team reps. That is literally normal. That is basically every backup quarterback. So if you watched, I don't know, let's just say the Falcons and Kirk Cousins came in and didn't look good, well, he also didn't get a lot of first-team reps. Backup quarterbacks almost always get basically no or very limited first-team reps. If Shedeur starts this week, which again seems to be the way it's going, he is going to get all the reps. He'll be more prepared than he has been, and the product will be what it is. But I think you're right. At least for whatever reason, a lot of people are going to be watching the Cleveland Browns this week.
All right, there he is, Ian Rappaport on what's going on with the Browns and Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel. Browns and Raiders this Sunday out in Vegas, and we don't know who the starting quarterback's going to be yet. Maybe Coach Stefanski will give us a couple of nuggets here during his press conference, which we're going to play some of that for you right now. And when we get back on the other side, we'll kind of dissect that a little bit. We'll get back into our poll question of the day, and it gets you up to the top of the hour. My man, Brian Beatty, is on the scene, and we'll catch up with him as well. But first, let's check in with the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Kevin Stefanski met with the media in Berea just a couple of hours ago, and let's see what he had to say.
Obviously, probably let everybody know we're thinking about Bernie as he's going through his medical situation here. Was able to text with him last night, and he knows that we're with him and he's with us. So just sending all the good vibes, good thoughts I can to Bernie right now. Injury front, Dom Jones likely heading to IR. Jack Conklin, Cam Robinson, those knee injuries, we'll treat those day to day. I'll know more as the week goes on. Dillon Gabriel remains in the concussion protocol. Obviously, watched the tape last night, this morning, watching it now with the players, and disappointed because that's a ball game in the fourth quarter where you want to go finish and get a win as a football team, and we came up short. And it's all things that we will learn from. That we absolutely have to play complementary ball there, offense, defense, special teams, to find a way to win. And that's what we'll be focused on this week. With that, I'll take any questions.
Okay, first we're going to Mary Kay.
Yeah, Kevin, what do you think the plan will be with Dillon being in the protocol? Will you kind of lean towards turning it over to Shedeur so he can get that full week of practice and be ready to go on Sunday?
Yeah, we'll work through that in the next couple days and this week. Obviously, Mary Kay, I'll update you guys Wednesday as we get into Vegas preparations.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Scott.
Hey, Kevin, when you look back at Shedeur's, first experience yesterday, what are the biggest maybe coaching points and what you're telling him, especially about dealing with the pressure that the Ravens brought?
Well, I think you learn from every single play, Scott, that's up there, and there's always lessons to be learned, and obviously there's always going to be good and there's always going to be bad, and that's just part of playing and getting reps, and then part of learning is taking all those coaching points that come with those reps.
And what'd you see on the back-to-back throws into the end zone? Looked like they had a chance, just need to be better balls, or what did you see there?
Yeah, trying to make a play on both of those, the scramble drill, obviously trying to make a big play, got out of the pocket, did a nice job, and then their player made a nice play down the field.
Thanks.
All right, next go to Daniel.
Hey Kevin, I wanted to ask now, do you have any further details on everything surrounding Dylan's concussion check? Was he presenting symptoms? Did he say anything? Was it a spotter? How did that come to be?
Yeah, he was feeling symptoms at halftime. Obviously, got with the trainers immediately and addressed it.
And as of this morning, is he still presenting symptoms to your knowledge?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into specifics, but he's still in the protocol.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Tony.
Yes, Kevin, I know this is a weekly question, but will Watson be cleared to practice?
Yeah, I don't have an update there.
Okay. And you said last night that if Gabriel is unable to play, it would be Shedeur. You have Zappy also. Is there any need for another quarterback to join the team this week?
Yeah, all things that we'll work through, but feel good about our group.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Jeff.
Kevin, what are the challenges for your offensive line when Gabriel and Shedeur have such different styles?
Yeah, I think for all players, Jeff, it's just important that you focus on your job, and our guys know what our roles are, and that of course, there's different styles to quarterbacks, there's different styles to runners. How the running back, your starting running back may run a plays a little bit different than the backup running back, but that's all part of it. And I think the big focus there, Jeff, is just that everybody does their job on any given play.
But I mean, it seems to me in a way that their styles are so contrasted, it has to really be more difficult, or I don't know, more difficult, but different for your line.
Yeah, the general principles, the rules, the how we structure the protection is regardless of the quarterback.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Joe.
Kevin, I know Wyatt said post-game yesterday that it took them a good couple minutes to get used to Shedeur's cadence and everything. Just what'd you think of the offensive line's performance second half and just everybody trying to adjust on the fly?
Yeah, I thought, listen, we can be better in a bunch of different areas. Obviously, those are things that we will continue to improve. But that's all part of playing this game, is making sure that when guys come in and out of a lineup that you don't miss a beat.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next go to Daryl.
Kevin, if I could follow up on Deshaun real quick. When's the deadline for you guys to make a decision about him on that reserve PUP, whether or not you will open that 21-day window?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, Daryl. I know he's doing a great job in meetings, supporting the guys.
And then just on Shedeur, when you watched that yesterday, obviously that's a tough spot for him to come in. We talked about the lack of first team reps and whatnot. Just what did you see from him? When you went back and watched the film this morning, and how much of that do you think? Positive or negative, can he take a step forward by now getting some practice time?
Yeah, I think it's all positive. You're constantly learning as a young football player, constantly learning as a quarterback through all reps. We talk so much about mental reps and those type of things, how important they are. So all those physical reps, I think, add up and will only improve as he continues to get turns.
All right, next we go to Cam.
Kevin, I know a lot of teams structure kind of how they give their reps away to their backups kind of similarly. When you look at that situation and knowing that Shedeur didn't get those first team reps, would you have changed anything about the approach, about how you maybe divided up the first team reps from training camp to now?
Yeah, I understand the question, Cam. I think it's important that you do what you think is right for a football team. The development of our players is constant. It doesn't happen just in one drill or in one practice or one meeting. So we trust our guys. We trust our backup players to be ready to go, and Shedeur's ready to go. Obviously, I know he wants to play better. I want to coach better, all those type of things, but that just comes, that'll come through work. That's where it will come.
And then on the other side of the ball, Devin Bush said yesterday that, they want to do more specifically for Myles Garrett in a game that he has 4 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. They want to do more, not only to help push him, but to get him wins. I know it's not just Myles, but is that kind of a shared mindset in the team of not wanting to waste big performances, so to say, by not getting the win?
Yeah, we're so focused on one thing, Cam, and one thing only, and that's winning, and that's winning as a team. And when you come up short, it's hard to really think about anything else about a given game.
Thanks.
All right, next we go to Chris.
Hey, Kevin, I got just a couple questions about the tackles position. Obviously, you say it's day-to-day with Jack and Cam, but would the plan be Tevin and KT likely to start at those spots? What would be what is the kind of contingency plan there?
Yeah, we have options, Chris. We have to work through all those things this week. Obviously, the availability of Jack and Cam will determine that. But KT went in there when we had an injury yesterday. Tevin went in there when we had an injury yesterday. So those are certainly options if that's the case.
And then following up, this is like the 3rd straight year where you've just had all sorts of injuries at that specific position, both tackle spots. Have you ever seen anything quite like that in your time in the league?
Can't remember. I don't know. But again, I think it goes back to injuries are a very, very unfortunate part of this game of football. And we have guys that are backups, and we trust them.
Thanks.
All right, next we go to Justin.
Hey, Kevin, I wanted to ask you if you could just explain some of the different nuances and challenges I know you have in the past of, splitting up reps with a rookie starting quarterback and a rookie backup quarterback and the different challenges that kind of presents.
Yeah, obviously reps themselves are different both in the off season and in the regular season. We've always structured it with making sure we're getting all of our guys ready to play. I think our players, starters and backups, do a great job of maximizing all of their opportunities, whether it comes again in a given rep or it comes in a meeting, whatever it may be.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go back to Mary Kay.
Yeah, a couple of questions here real quick for you, Kevin. First of all, when you said after the game that Dillon would start if he cleared the concussion protocol, were you pretty much talking about the Raiders game? And will you take this kind of week to week? I mean, you didn't, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the fact that he's in the concussion protocol. So we'll obviously make sure that takes precedent here, Mary Kay, and make sure that he's getting better by the day.
But what I mean by that is, does Shedeur have a chance to nail this thing and hang on to the starting job if he goes out there and performs well? And then when Gabriel comes back, or how would that?
Yeah, I'm not going to speculate on that type of thing. I know this. We trust our players. We trust our guys to put in the work, and we're just going to be solely focused on this game that's in front of us.
Okay.
All right,
And then,
there is the head football coach of the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, at his press conference earlier today up in Berea. The Sam Berkman Show poll question of the day: who's to blame most for Shedeur's performance yesterday? I didn't put it in, A, B, C, D text because I could have went to Z, but I just want to kind of know what you thought. Who was most to blame? Was it Shedeur? Is it the team? Is it the offensive line? Is it the? I mean, there's a million, there's a myriad of things to do. Who's that handsome looking devil over there? That's Brian Beatty, who's kind enough to join us. He's going to be helping us out with some of our behind the scenes basketball stuff tonight. But we're going to get into some high school football too in a little bit. But just real quick for the Browns. What did you think of his Shedeur's performance yesterday? And he certainly looked like a guy that kind of wasn't prepared. I mean, when you go 4 for 16 and you're missing reads and you're holding on to the ball too long, what'd you see?
Yeah, deer in headlights for sure. That's what I saw. Not ready to go. Just the performance is what someone with no experience at all. Not ready to go, not game tested. You got to at least get the mental reps in during the week. If you're not, it's hard to get the physical reps in. You only have so much time, but you got to get the mental reps in. You have to know defensively what they're doing. You have to visualize what's going on offensively, defensively, and at least get the mental. He looks like he just was lost. Just was, and you're going to be like that. And the Browns, you think would be a little bit smarter. You have 2 rookie quarterbacks. You don't have a veteran backup. That has played in the league, so you would think you'd get them a few reps during practice and see where you're at. What's your future? And right now, as usual, you have no idea what the future of the Cleveland Browns are.
I mean, I talked about it earlier in the show, and again, I just go by what I see and what I hear about rules from the NFL and protocol for practice and reps and first team, and that it seemed. And Luke McCown on Twitter today said, "Hey, look, if you're not familiar with how this works, let me tell you how it works." And basically, he said the backups aren't getting any reps during the week in practice. Okay, that's fine, but why not? Why wouldn't you look? The old saying is you're one snap away. Why wouldn't you devote just a little bit of time for your backup QB to get reps with the number ones during the week, just in case? Especially when Flacco was here, when he's a 20-year veteran. He doesn't need to get all the reps. I don't care what they say. He doesn't need all those. Why would you not kind of semi-prepare your other guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look what Flacco did. He went brand new system, and he was fit in right away. I mean, he was ready to go. He was ready to go within hours. It seemed like. So yeah, I would say, especially when you have rookies, and you're a franchise that has quarterback issues, maybe change the system up a little bit, be a leader, experiment with something different, and make the changes. And you have to at least see what you have coming into the draft next year. Which quarterback, are either of these quarterbacks ready at this time? I don't think you have an answer, in my opinion.
No, again, we don't have an answer. Yeah. And again,
you've had that for a long time.
We're playing, we're playing this game of I don't know what. So, I'm going to step away from the Browns for a minute. I want to talk some high school football with you now, and maybe a little bit when we get started here in the 5 o'clock hour. But you had the McKinley-Mentor game.
Yes.
And it was something. I mean, we were listening to it after our West Branch game. We were on the edge of our seat up in the press box in Lake County, and we heard how it kind of played out. If you could, in a little capsule, McKinley-Mentor and how bright is the future for McKinley? Because I think we agree, and I think others agree, I think they kind of got the corner turned here just a little bit moving forward.
Yeah, Coach Parnell, I think, it has changed the attitude of McKinley football, and not just they have a tradition, it's a strong tradition in McKinley football, but I think the kids are starting to believe, they had an opportunity to fall backwards or kind of collapse in that game, and they took the opportunity, and when they could have let down and went a different direction, they stood up to Mentor, one of the top teams in the state of Ohio, one of the top teams in the country when you look at it, and had the opportunity right down to the end to win the game. And yes, they gave up the touchdown right at the end, and lost the game to 2-point conversion. But those boys played hard. I had the opportunity to go down and give out the Scout Player of the Week, and they were devastated. And you like seeing that. It wasn't.
You like that they felt the hurt a little.
The hurt,
bit, what I mean?
They have some younger kids that are that performed well Friday night. They had some nice leadership. With the quarterback, he was a good leader, and I think they have, kids that are going to follow in his footsteps. And I just love the way they were coached this year. I saw that we did their game week 2 against
the New Jersey. Cleveland Heights.
Cleveland Heights,
Okay.
yes, Cleveland Heights. We did week 2 Cleveland Heights, and I saw the growth just on the sidelines. Just on kickoff. Just seeing how they correct the mistakes immediately when they made them, and you didn't see those mistakes after we had them week 5 and week 7. You saw those mistakes cleaned up. So I see a lot of growth, and I saw a lot of growth, even in the playoffs. And I think there's going to be some good things coming. And no matter what you say, there's open enrollment now at McKinley, and I think you're going to see some, that's a good thing. And he has, great people around him, which is huge because, as a head coach, there's a lot of other things you got to take care of. So I'm looking at great things at McKinley. But yeah, what a great ball game. Like you said, had Clint and I. That was a
down to
full
the wire.
press box.
I
Clint's a McKinley grad, and I know we were just talking. It's nice being on the road where you can be somewhat of a homer. You can have that. We were on one side. We were pulling for the pups for sure. So, it was a tough one, but yeah, great game, and it was fun calling it for sure.
Yeah, our other teams, Massillon is still alive. They'll play Big Walnut in Zanesville on Friday. Of course, shout out to Spider over at East Canton. They had a heck of a run this year, and Coach Cooper over at West Branch. I haven't seen very many defenses as good as Lake County Perry. I don't care what division it was. And I've seen West Branch this year just light up the scoreboard. Lake County Perry can get after it.
Yeah,
they're really good.
I talked to some people at West Branch. My daughter plays over there, and was down at a basketball scrimmages down in Lexington on Saturday, and talked to Coach Shepis, and he said up front is one of the best teams he's seen. And Coach Shepis has been coaching there since the 90s, and up front he said they were amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just seem to be big, powerful kids that play from up there. I don't know if it's that nuclear plant or what they have up there, but some big boys and some strong. That'll be an interesting. It's a Glenville matchup, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
At Ravenna.
At Ravenna,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Very good.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be a good game. But you got Coach Miller. I do their laundry, and I always know how many players are playing by the pants they turn in. You can have 100 jerseys. You can give a jersey to everybody. 21 pairs of pants every week, and tell you what, there's 21 players that get after it because every pair of those pants are dirty.
Yeah,
every week.
that's quality there, not quantity.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. That's for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to step away. We got the news coming up here at the top of the hour. When we get back, Brian and I will talk some more high school playoff football. We'll take a look back at the Browns, maybe a little college football as well, as the AP poll released. The CFP rankings will come out tomorrow. And before we do go to break, though, I just saw this, courtesy of Mary Kay, can confirm that Shedeur Sanders' house was broken into during the Browns' loss to the Ravens yesterday. And that was first reported by Pro Football Talk. So a rough day on the field for Shedeur, and then finds out his house gets broken into, and yeah. All right, news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. We'll come back with more live from the Krassas Event Center right here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN.
Keeping Alliance entertained and informed for over a half a century. AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The acting FEMA administrator has stepped down. In a statement, Homeland Security confirming David Richardson handed in his resignation. ABC's Luke Barr says FEMA chief of staff will take over next month.
Richardson did face some criticism from those both externally and internally at the department. Of course, he took over for Cameron Hamilton, the former acting FEMA administrator who was tapped by the Trump administration to dismantle the agency, as FEMA's Secretary Kristi Noem has said publicly that she wants to dismantle it. Hamilton kind of pushed back on that and was subsequently ousted from the role.
Tomorrow, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman will arrive in the U.S. for business and defense meetings with President Trump. It will be the Crown Prince's first visit in 7 years to the U.S. following the death of Saudi critic and journalist Jamal Khashoggi by Saudi agents in Istanbul. On Wall Street, stocks ended sharply lower today. This is ABC News.
Taxes was feeling unwelcome. Now Taxes is an open door, literally, to new TurboTax stores. Meet our experts in person.
Hi, welcome in.
They're powered by smart tech and ready to do your taxes for you. Get real-time updates while you go about your day. Confident your taxes are done right. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. TurboTax stores opening soon. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
Here's the latest Alliance area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. Plain Township has hired a new fire chief. Howard Hirschberger was named to the post in a unanimous vote by trustees Friday. He'll assume the job December 21st. Hirschberger will succeed Charles Schalenberger, who will become the township's full-time zoning director. He's held that job on an interim basis since the retirement of Tom Ferrara in July. 5 candidates applied for the fire chief position. Carroll County will conduct a study to consider options for widening Route 43, the road that connects the area to Canton, and Route 30 is 2 lanes, which causes backups during peak driving times. County Commissioner Robert Werkner told the repository the county is one of the only ones in the state without any 3- or 4-lane highway. He says the study will look at other options and determine what makes the most sense to connect Carrollton to Route 30. The Ohio Mid-Eastern Governments Association granted $250,000 to complete the study, which could get underway in a year. The Stewart Manor House at Quail Hollow Park in Lake Township will be 100 years old in 2029, and Stark Parks wants to celebrate by updating facilities. Park District beginning a fundraising project to raise $3 million by 2029. It says projects were identified in the 2017 Quail Hollow Park Master Plan. Improvements include new restrooms, accessible parking area, and renovation of the carriage house into an accessible space for park and public use. Several organizations have already contributed, including the Hoover, Timken, and Dubel Foundations. More grants are being sought. Defense attorneys for William Long want key cell phone evidence thrown out in his upcoming aggravated murder trial. Lawyers say prosecutors plan to use cell phone data in a mapping program to place Long near the scene of his ex-wife's November 2023 murder. According to the Salem News, they argue the technology is unreliable and unproven. They've asked the court for a hearing to determine if the evidence can be used. The prosecution says the data has been used in other cases, including in Columbiana County. Long is accused of killing 50-year-old Michelle Long outside her Butler Township home. His trial has been delayed until February 3rd, with a motions hearing set for Tuesday. The Columbiana County Drug Task Force executed a search warrant at a home in East Liverpool last Wednesday. Prior to the raid, officers arrested Justin Barrett. Task Force members, along with East Liverpool Police, entered a Metropolitan Housing Authority home at 1618 Park Avenue. They reportedly found suspected crack cocaine residue and paraphernalia consistent with drug trafficking. Barrett was charged with criminal trespass. Additional charges are pending lab results. Man died after an officer-involved shooting in Southington. Trumbull County deputies responded early Friday after a reported domestic incident. Deputies in the Highway Patrol were called to a house on Route 534 just after 5 a.m. Man was reportedly brandishing a firearm while standing in the roadway. Sheriff's office says shots were fired and the subject was hit. He died later at University Hospital in Ravenna. The incident remains under investigation by the Ohio BCI. No other details were released. One Mahoning County man has entered a guilty plea in a federal drug case. 21-year-old Jonathan Streb was charged with possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance. He'll be sentenced February 25th before U.S. District Judge Sarah Leoy. Indictment was issued July 9th. Charges accuse Streb and 22-year-old Javon Thomas of having cocaine, fentanyl, and methamphetamine on December 9th, 2022. Thomas also had a semi-automatic rifle. His case is pending. The government looks to seize the gun, 48 rounds of ammunition, and just over $4,000 in cash. Streb served a one-year sentence beginning in July 2024 for separate drug cases. Sharp jump in its main tube business was credited for the strong third quarter showing at Vallourec. Business with U.S. headquarters in Houston has a plant in Youngstown, which just saw a groundbreaking for a $48 million expansion. Profits reach over $243 million in the quarter, which included higher prices for its products and solid demand from U.S. customers. CEO of the French company, Philippe Guillemot, says market response to higher tariffs will lead to a drop in imports, which currently make up about 40% of the U.S. supply. One of two suspects charged in the death of a Warren man faces separate criminal charges. 50-year-old John Armstrong was indicted Thursday in Trumbull County on charges of burglary and gross sexual imposition in connection with an unspecified July incident. Armstrong is in the Cuyahoga County Jail awaiting trial for the shooting death of 46-year-old Juvar King. He was found shot to death at a vacant house in Cleveland in March. The Cuyahoga County grand jury also indicted 28-year-old Nathaniel Crockett of Cleveland on charges including felonious assault, kidnapping, gross abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and having weapons under disability. Columbus City School Board members held a listening session Saturday where families voiced their opinions on proposed cuts as the district prepares to reduce its budget by $50 million. Board of Education Vice President Jennifer Adair said no final decisions have been made. Said the goal of the listening sessions is to gauge what matters most to the community. Last week, Superintendent Angela Chapman proposed eliminating nearly 450 staff positions and consolidating additional school buildings. Adair said the board is scheduled to vote on cuts in December. Man killed in a shooting in Adams County Friday, identified as Christopher Lindner, son of businessman Carl Lindner III. The news came in a brief statement released by the family Sunday evening. The 40-year-old was killed by police around 5 p.m. in a shooting at a farm owned by the family in Adams County. Highway Patrol said Lindner came out of a home on the property with a firearm when he was shot by officers. According to police, Lindner had been involved in a domestic situation developing over the last few weeks and was recently served a protective order. The Lindner family owns multiple Cincinnati-based businesses, including United Dairy Farmers, American Financial Group, and the FC Cincinnati soccer team. 37 degrees at 5:08. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
A chilly Sunday afternoon, our high in the middle 40s under a mainly sunny and windy sky. Overnight still windy, partly cloudy, our low 29. I am RJ Weather from 3 News.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, Meatball!
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mobley to Tilly to the cup. The lead. 6 seconds left. 3:30 for the win. The Cavs survive.
From the 35-yard line, Sanders on first down. Njoku is wide open. Instead, he goes deep to Fannin. Big play, Shedeur Sanders to Harold Fannin, a gain of 25. A loss of 9. Mitchell dropped it, picked off. Devin Bush on the return. Bush still going. Touchdown. That is Andrews under center on 4th and 1. Andrews spinning away, and there he goes. Andrews all the way. Touchdown.
Lutz. He's already made 4 today. Lutz in the clutch.
and the Broncos have won it.
Yeah, a lot of field goals yesterday, a lot of game-winning walk-offs yesterday in the NFL. And, of course, the Browns were on the short end, 23-16 to the Ravens. And we welcome you back into the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN, streaming on all of our social media platforms, WDPN Facebook, X, Twitter, and, of course, the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. You can follow me on X as well at Sam Bourquin16. Same deal on TikTok at SammyB16. We are joined by Brian Beatty from Q92 Sports as he has joined us here for well, until we put him to work, I guess we'll put it that way. He'll be flagging down some of the high school basketball coaches. They start to come in. Social hour at 5:30, and dinner at 6:30. The program at 7:30, and we'll try to get as many interviews as from our hoops coaches as we possibly can. Browns fall yesterday. Congratulations to the Massillon Tigers as they move on to the next round of the OHSAA playoffs next Friday, this coming Friday. On the road at Zanesville. They will take on Sunbury Big Walnut. That was an interesting game a year ago in the rain. And what was it, 37 times the Massillon jumped off sides in that game last year? Something like that. So hopefully the Tigers can get that all turned around and do that. The Buckeyes, another easy win over the weekend as they took on UCLA and put them away on Saturday night. Mount Union, Purple Raiders 10-0. They have a bye this week. They will get ready for the NCAA Division III college football playoffs. The brackets are out. Those are posted on all of our social media websites if you're going to go check those out. Some interesting stuff there. You could have a round 3 matchup between Mount Union and John Carroll. And then you could have a national semifinal between North Central and Mount Union. I'm still trying to figure out who the bozo is that put both those teams on the same side of the bracket, but they did, so it is what it is. And we'll get into that later on this week. Don't forget, Coach Dart will join us Thursday at 3:35, and we'll get the lowdown on the Purple Raiders during their bye week this week and see what the football team is up to. Cavs and Bucks tonight. That's on Peacock, 7 o'clock, as Cleveland goes up against Giannis and Milwaukee. Got a shout out to Ronnie Stokes and Troy Taylor. They were the guest speakers today at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club. They did a great job. If you missed any of that program at all, we have it in its entirety on our social media posts on Facebook and X. You can go back and watch that and listen to that anytime. Always good to see Ronnie and Troy. I mean, how long has it been since they used to work their magic at the field house and then down at St. John Arena? Always good to have the fellows back here in the Hall of Fame city. The basketball preview tonight, the coaches panel goes at 7:30, social hour at 5:30. The dinner is served at 6:30. Don't know if there's any tickets available or not, but if you want to call the St. Harlambus Church up and ask, maybe they could see if they could squeeze you in here tonight for the big dinner. We were here for the football event on Friday. We were here for the event during the fall or earlier in the summer. I'll get my stuff straight. It was in August, and we had a great time. So we come back here for hoops, and we're going to be here tonight as well. Shedeur Sanders got his home broken into yesterday during the game, so they're doing investigating on that. He'd had a rough day on the gridiron yesterday, and that loss to the Ravens, 4 of 16. Had a pick. He had a couple tackles for loss. Brian Beatty has joined me here for a couple of more segments. And we talked a little bit about that before we got up to the break, but want to reiterate there a little bit. You being around football for forever and ever and ever. What did you see? First of all, what's your take on Dylan Gabriel before the concussion thing? What have you seen out of him this year? Then we'll talk about Shedeur for a minute. I don't know what to think. That's why I asked you. I don't know what to think.
Yeah, there's some positives for sure. I think it's anytime you get to that level, you're going to see mistakes. And I feel like he put some pressure on himself. And I wish we had a situation where you had a Flacco that he could learn behind. We didn't get really a quarterback that some of these young quarterbacks that could develop. You look at a Baker Mayfield that maybe had a year to develop and kind of learn, and then that's thrown in the fire, and then you're getting hurt. And then you're playing injured, and you're playing this way. You're not given not that you're not given 100%, but you're unable to do 100% because you're injured. And I think there's some talent. I think his size is going to be an issue. I just in the NFL, you have to have all the measurables. There's a reason why they measure your hands. There's a reason they do that. I mean, there's a reason for that. It's a big, there's a few special that's can get around that, but it's still an issue, I think. And I think there's some positives. If he had some time to grow, but look who he's throwing it to. I mean, look who's blocking for. I can't fault the kid, and I can't. It's like, yeah, you can. Who you play? Look what they're calling for him. It's like, and when you get to that level, I mean, each level from Pee Wee to high school to college to the pro, the speed of the game. I mean, from the college to the pro, it's crazy. From high school to college, no matter what level, it's the speed of the game. And the next level up, from college to the pros, I couldn't imagine. And then you're put in a situation where you don't have the talent around you to, be able to
help you
to
do anything.
Do anything to make the plays you want to make in those situations. So it's hard. I don't want to bash the kid. It's not his fault. And so it's to be determined.
Again.
Is that what I can say? Yeah, he might be with someone in 4 years, and we'll be like, oh, he might be a MVP of the league. I don't know.
To be determined.
Yes,
that should be the slogan of the Cleveland Browns highlight film. To be determined.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to break down. I mean, you can break down a lot of other things around them. Unfortunately,
it's a tough watch. It's a tough situation. I had said months and months ago, I said this team is going to be 4-13. That's what I pegged them, and I'm not saying I'm the only one that did, but they may get there. And at this point, you're not trying to win games. You've got the only way the Browns are going to get out from this whole mess, which was started with the Deshaun Watson. They don't have money to throw at problems. They're going to have to do this through the draft. So that's why I think you finish the tank this year. You may want to do this again next year.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you'll have just draft capital like you've never had before and use it wisely. Make smart decisions, which I don't know that I trust them to do that either with who is there. But you can't throw money at this through free agency. You've got to go from the inside out.
Yeah.
So continue to be bad this year. You probably want to do it again next year. And maybe when you open the doors to the Taj Mahal coming up in 2029 at Brook Park, maybe you can make a run at things. Brian Beatty with me here on the Sam Berkwood Show at the Krassas Event Center. Let's get back into to high school football and kind of, I guess, put a cap on things, so to speak, for the most part, except for the Massillon Tigers, who are moving ahead. The teams that we lost this weekend, East Canton, West Branch, and Canton McKinley, you were at the Bulldog Mentor game. I had the West Branch game. We had a crew doing the East Canton game. Before the weekend started, Brian, how many teams did you think we were going to be able to get through the weekend? And did it kind of play out the way you thought it might?
I would say it probably played out the way I thought. I thought maybe West Branch had a chance. I didn't know how good Perry was up front, but after what you said, they're good, and I was told they were good. I just didn't know how they were going to match up, because I knew offensively West Branch was really good, but defensively, up front at this time of year, if you have up front, you're going to win ball games, and that was shown in that game. So I thought Massillon. I kind of prepared for that because I thought that's where I was going before, and I thought they had a chance, to take care of them. And then the Pups game, I thought they would play Mentor, but I thought Mentor would pull away, and I felt that a little bit early in the third quarter. But like I said, once again, McKinley didn't back down. They came back and had every opportunity to win that game. So it kind of played out. Mogador is Mogador, and they're a machine, and unfortunately, East Canton just you're just
They just
limited.
their time kind of ran out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
They'll just wear you down. So
Yeah,
yeah.
It'll be interesting. So Maslin is still alive. Garraway is still alive. Semi sort of in our area. Not, but yes. They're going to be playing over at Louisville against Kirtland on Friday, and I believe who's the Indian Valley still alive.
Yes,
they might get back there with that incredible running back that they have, and I mean that would be cool for them if they could kind of go back to back. But you look at our divisions 1 through 7, it's a lot of the usual suspects are back again. Eds, Menor, Elder, and X are going to go at it down in Cincinnati. You've got a couple of the old and Tangy schools are going to be battling for the right to go to the next round. Of course, you Marion local, Coldwater, those teams there. Steubenville got a walk-off 45-yard field goal in their game. You talk about pressure.
Yeah,
for a high school kid to come out and bang one from 45.
Yeah, that was good from 60.
Yes,
that was a bomb.
So I mean, there's a lot of the usual teams are going to be there. Of course, it will all culminate in Canton at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium for the OHSA state championships coming up here in December. But just as far as you're concerned, Brian, the games that you guys got to call this year, and I know you're very close to a lot of the football programs and coaches and players. And what stuck out to you in this 2025 football season overall?
I think myself, the teams I got to do, I think the best player I saw this year, I think the Andes kid from North Canton.
Okay,
he's my Stark County MVP, and I know the young man from Alliance,
J.R. Jackson.
J.R. Jackson special.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the opportunity to see him, but the one that I've seen, I thought he was Andy's kid could do everything, and honestly, maybe the fastest kid I've seen on a football field this year. Great high school football, Federal League football. Got to do a Louisville game. I think Coach Kappas had things going the right way. They had some injuries later in the season that kind of hurt them. McKinley going the right way. Jackson has a young man, that Mulliman, that quarterback.
Carter.
He might have been the best performance I saw of any individual when he played against Lake this year. He was for real. So they have their future is looking bright. Lake just keeps on bringing Lake kids in. So, then Coach DeGeorge did a great job. We had the opportunity to do Green. At one point, I told people they're the best 1-5 team in the state, and they had a chance to beat. And they had a chance to beat Fitch. They had them right there, and Fitch ran into a buzzsaw with Walt's Jesuit, the following week. But that might be one of the best staffs in the Federal League. Some great gentlemen up there. So we're just blessed to have some great coaches in this area, great players, work hard. It's just great football. It's fun given this opportunity to call games and getting outside just Louisville now and just seeing the competition. It's enjoyable. It really is.
It's good. It goes so fast.
Oh,
I mean, here we are. We're a week out. A week or so out of Thanksgiving, and we're down to one team. And you think about two-a-days and the preview that was here in August. We're talking to coaches and thinking, hey, and boom, we're down to one. In the blink of an eye, it's so fast. We also know that the OHSA is going to be voting. I don't know if that vote was today or if it's next week about the possibility of NIL coming to the state of Ohio for the student athletes in the Buckeye State. Any lean for you one way or the other? You think this will go? And let's just say it is a yes. How in the world is this going to play out? Division 1 through 7 all over the Buckeye State.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a yes, just so the OHSA and the ADs can have some control over it. Because if they don't, you're going to have the lawyers and everyone going to be in control. The judges are going to be in control of it, sort of like the way it's come down. So they're going to vote yes, so they can get some type of control of it, and hopefully we can get control of it. My biggest fear is how is this going to affect locker rooms? You're going to be, as a coach, you're going to have players probably making 5-10 times more than what you are,
Think about that first. Think about what you just said there, and you're right, too. I mean, the NFL level, we see millionaires, with millionaires. Some guys have a lot more than others, but it's kind of an understanding. College, we don't know who's making what in college. I imagine some guys are making a lot of bank, some maybe getting a couple bucks a week. At the high school level, and I'm not questioning the maturity of high school kids, but I'm wondering if they are ready for that to be a part, another element in their life as they're growing up and studying, making friends, playing football, just being kids. Are they ready for that?
Yeah. And how many times you go to a high school football game and at Medina they have the I'm going to not remember his name, the big 6'7" offensive lineman that's going to Ohio State, and right next to him at guard there was a 5'10", 220-pound kid that was working his butt off just as much as this young man was. And we all know there are some great high school athletes that work harder than most kids, and this kid has the measurables and he's going to succeed at Ohio State and maybe at the next level.
Sure.
But this kid is a high school athlete that works his butt off harder than anybody in the weight room just so he can get snaps on a Friday night. And he's not getting that $5,000, $10,000 check. And now, what's that kid going to do? Is he going to work as hard? Does he want to do all this? And now, you're going to have that guy in the community that writes that $10,000 check, $5,000 check, says, hey, he's my quarterback. He's going to be my ad. And the coach is, who you answering to if he's not your quarterback?
Right. Then what happens?
Yeah. Well, he's on my billboard. Who now as a high school coach, you're just not answering to the parent, which is already fun enough.
You're answering to the check writer.
The check writer.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a mess. Locker rooms. All right. I mean, you have to have the locker room. If you lose the locker rooms in any sport,
right,
you lost it, and it's just going to be crazy.
Yeah. I just wonder.
When does the portal start? When does John Smith say, "Hey, I'm here, but this guy works over here, and he's going to offer me this much money. Why can't I go to this school? Why can't?" And I don't know. It's just
now, as far as we got about 2 minutes before we get to the break. We're gonna blow off on this day in sports history today. Although there is a really bizarre moment. It was the Heidi game on NBC between the Raiders and the Jets. We might get into that later, but for now we're gonna brush that off. The whole open enrollment thing now, is that pretty much? What would you say the percentage is of schools and districts that have open enrollment to those that do not? Any idea how that would work and what we could be in for here as we get into this new era of everything?
Yeah, I don't know what the exact percentage of schools. I mean, majority of them do have the open enrollment. I wouldn't know, honestly, the exact amount. I know Louisville has open enrollment, but it's limited of how many. But, then it just becomes a mess, And what sports is open enrollment? And you're not supposed to be, just favored the sports. It's supposed to be for individuals with, IEPs and other things you're looking into. So, it's a mess.
I just wonder.
And another thing I was told, and I was listening to a speaker not too long ago, to be a high school or a college agent, but especially in high school, I can be an agent. I don't have to have a law degree. I don't have to have anything.
Right.
And most of these individuals are getting 20% cuts. So, some of these workout factories and stuff like this will put it up, but they're taking 20%.
Right.
An NFL agent may get 2 or 3% of the money. So, any Joe Schmo can come off the street and be a high school sports agent.
Yeah, right.
And that's scary. It's
gonna be nuts.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's scary.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're broadcasting live here at the Krassas Event Center, getting ready for the 2025 high school basketball preview. Sam Bourquin here, Brian Beatty here, and we're talking a little football, a little basketball, and a little bit of life with you here on 1310 WDPM. We'll be back with more after the news. Stay with us.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. The Department of War ordered Texas and California National Guard to return to their home states. The order is following intervention from judges who claim there was no justification for the military's assistance in Chicago and Portland, Oregon. 200 Texas National Guard soldiers were deployed to the Chicago area in October in response to violent protests and actions against ICE agents and facilities. Texas Governor Greg Abbott authorized the federal government to deploy the National Guard, which has been patrolling the nation's southern border during the border crisis. Britain says it's moving to change immigration refugee status to temporary while quadrupling the wait for permanent settlement to 20 years under the most significant overhaul of policy in recent history. In an attempt to offset growing criticism from the populist Reform UK Party, Britain's Labour government has hardened its immigration policies, particularly on illegal small boat crossings from France. The British government said it would follow the approach of Denmark, which has some of the strictest immigration policies in Europe, where many nations have recently clamped down on their borders. Immigration officials removed a violent criminal from the country after a Milwaukee judge tried to help him escape. The Department of Homeland Security deported Eduardo Flores Ruiz Thursday following his April arrest at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. FBI officials assisted ICE agents during the operation after Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan directed officers away from the Mexican national. The judge reportedly led him outside through a courtroom door. He was arrested a short time later. U.S. military took out another drug trafficking boat in the Eastern Pacific, killing 3. The vessel was struck in international waters Saturday. The attack conducted by Joint Task Force Southern Spear, a counter-narcotics joint task force within SOUTHCOM, which was formed in October. The strike disclosed the same day as the arrival in the Caribbean Sea of the USS Gerald R. Ford, which has more than 4,000 sailors and carries FA-18 Super Hornet fighter jets and long-range Tomahawk missiles. Newly released records from Jeffrey Epstein's estate expose exchanged text messages with Democratic Virgin Islands delegate Stacey Plaskett during 2019 testimony, and that Epstein's real-time comments could have shaped some of her questioning. The messages, part of a release of emails and documents by the House Oversight Committee, show Epstein closely following former Trump attorney Michael Cohen's February 2019 appearance before the congressional body. Timestamps, context, and alignment with live footage reviewed by the Washington Post indicate the recipient was Plaskett, a member of the panel questioning Cohen that day. The executor of the O.J. Simpson estate has accepted a negotiated claim with the father of Ron Goldman. Fred Goldman initially submitted a claim exceeding $117 million, but estate executor Malcolm Laverne disputed Goldman's calculations and offered $58 million. Goldman accepted. In the summer of 1994, police found Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman dead with multiple knife wounds outside Simpson's Brentwood home in Los Angeles. The executor told TMZ that the state intends to pay as much as it can with ongoing auctions of Simpson's possessions, some of which is memorabilia that's been stolen and attorneys are working to recover. 36 degrees at 5:33 for WDPN News. I'm Clint Marshall.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's going to be a windy afternoon, gusts about 30 miles per hour at times, mainly sunny, and a high of 44 degrees. Overnight, partly cloudy, windy, and colder, a low near 29. I am Mark J. Weather from 3 News.
And we are back, 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show, live from the Krassas Event Center here at the St. Harlemus Church, getting ready for the 2025 high school boys basketball preview. If you have tickets and you are here, make sure you stop by and say hello. We're going to be on the air till 6, and then we'll probably congregate at a table or two and get ready for the big event. You can check out our social media platforms also. Courtside with Sammy B and Lee later on Instagram, Facebook, and X. We'll have some photos up, and who knows what else we'll have for you. You never know. You can tell they've opened the doors. A, people are inside the event center, and B, the temperature has gone down about another 5 degrees because it is still very cold out. Sam Bourquin here, Brian Beatty here. Been hanging out. We're talking a little football with you today, the Browns and high school football, and keep those thoughts and prayers coming for Bernie Kosar. He had his liver transplant today. He is out at the hospital. He's in stable condition and doing well. So keep those thoughts and prayers coming for Bern as he's been through it. Okay, he's been through it. Gosh, I just hope he's gonna be okay at the end. Browns fall to the Ravens yesterday, 23-16. We've been talking about Shedeur Sanders and what's up next for Dylan Gabriel. What's up next for Shedeur? The Browns, I think, are just they're gonna just stay as is. There's not gonna be any coaching change or anything like that. You're gonna stay with the group here the rest of the year and worry about next year. High school football over the weekend. Massillon, the only area team to advance to the playoffs. They've got Sunbury Big Walnut coming up at Salzburger Stadium in Zanesville coming up this Friday. And are we good to go for that, by the way?
Yes.
Have we heard yet?
Yeah,
We're good to go?
we're
All
good
right,
to go.
so you and Clint and Ryan will be in Zanesville on Q92 Radio on Friday night, Q92radiosports.com. Massillon and Big Walnut. So we'll see if the Tigers can keep it going. Buckeyes, an easy win over the weekend against UCLA. Buckeyes are still number 1 in the AP poll. The Hoosiers are number 2. The CFP rankings will come out tomorrow. Purple Raiders of Mount Union have a bye this week. They'll be in action in 2 weeks against the winner of Union College or Muhlenberg at Kara Stadium as the D3 playoffs will get underway this coming weekend. And then Mount has the bye. They'll get ready to go the following weekend after that. Brian Beatty, are you a believer in the Indiana Hoosiers? I think I'm getting there. I think I'm almost all the way there.
Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think, they've been tested. Offensively, they're as good as anybody in the country. I think, the quarterback knows how to handle pressure. They have the weapons. They're good up front. They've brought, the portal has treated them well. NIL money has treated them well. It doesn't take much, and they're led by a charismatic man who believes in them.
How about Kurt Signetti? How about the job he has done?
Love him. I do. I love his attitude. I know he rubs some people the wrong way, but it's his own way, and I think the kids love it. And they got it going in the Hoosier land. Yeah,
they will. I don't know the way the world is, man. They're always going to be a basketball school there, but lately the football program is taking center stage, and Indiana's not the cute little story anymore. I think they're a real. And they signed him up. They give him a nice contract extension. They threw some more coin on the table.
Mm-hmm.
They knew people will be knocking his door down to get to him. So he's going to stay at Indiana. We think for the at least couple of more years. I think they're really playing well. I love Mendoza. And who would have thought if you'd have told me, guys are going to be knocking on the transfer door to go to Indiana? I'd have said you're out of your mind. It's true.
Yeah. What's a better job, Penn State or Indiana right now? Recruiting.
Oh, recruiting is Indiana.
Yeah,
it's
isn't that crazy? Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier to get someone to go to, Indiana than Penn State. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
I know. And then I think today, or I think it's 99% official. Virginia Tech and James Franklin, they're going to sign on the dotted line today, and he'll take over there. So, and there'll be more hirings and firings, I'm sure, and we'll see where a lot of these coaches end up. Who do you think will make it to the national championship game? Especially after we watched Oklahoma beat Alabama. A&M got the fear of God put into them by South Carolina. They come back with a win at home. Who do you think's playing in Miami for the big one?
Love the Buckeyes. I mean, they're just defensively.
Do you think they've been tested?
Not tested. I mean, you can look at the strength of schedule, whatever you want to say, but they've done what they needed to. They have, I don't see them any flaws. I just think, what they had to do, they've done. The Michigan game is going to be the big one. I think that's going to be their test. I want to see how they perform because, that's the game.
Worry at all?
But what's that?
Don't worry at all. I'm starting to get a little worried.
Yeah, you do a little bit, but
normally I wouldn't. But I
wouldn't. But I think they're focused in. Okay. I think they have a locker room that's just focused. I mean, they're drawn in week to week. And you mentioned A&M. I think, you always said there's a good loss out there. That was a good threat or a good scare for them. And that's a good ball team. I didn't get to watch that game against Notre Dame, but I listened to it on the radio. I was picking up laundry that evening all night, and I just was interested in listening to announcers talk about it, just their physicality and I like them in A&M. The Buckeyes and A&M. Honestly, I know they're two front runners, and there could always be someone else, but it just seems like A&M's been tested. The SEC's top to bottom, so I like both of them right now. So,
is there? I have a dark horse. I'm going to see who you come up with. Let's just go with the 12, whoever the 12 is. And there could be a North Texas in there. There could be a Georgia Tech in there. I think Texas Tech kind of gets overlooked because of their defense. They spent more money in the portal than anybody in college football. Their quarterback is okay. Their defense is incredible. Do you have a dark horse? Who would it be?
Texas Tech. I like them with the oil money they got down there. I still like Miami.
Really?
Yeah, and the only reason
talent's there.
Talent's there, and if you get why am I drawing the blank on the quarterback, the Georgia boy? Carr.
Me too. Beck. Carson Beck.
If you get the good Beck for a couple games, he's dangerous. I mean, he's a flight risk at any moment, but if you can't focus, and he has talent, and I mean, they could scare people. They just. And I'm a homer. And I'm an ACC guy. I'm a Louisville guy, so that's probably where I come a little bit. I'll just give it. I'll be upfront. But Miami's still. I see what they did to Notre Dame and some of the other teams, and then they get upset here and there, and it's back. It falls on his shoulder. If he's a flight risk, but if he could stay, that's I guess. But from there, you got. I can't call Georgia or Alabama under or dark horses, but I mean you can say they are.
Yeah.
Texas, I think's done. I think they're pretty well done. I mean, you got
their third loss?
Yeah,
that should be it for them.
Yeah,
and they were beaten soundly. By Georgia.
Notre Dame is another. I don't have faith in them, and that's coming from a family of Notre Dame fans. I won't be invited to Thanksgiving. So, but yeah, I don't have. I like Jeremiah Love. He might be the Heisman Trophy winner, one of the top ones, but I don't know. I just think Ohio State and Texas A&M's above all of them.
Where do you sit on the playoffs itself? Are you good with 12? Are you comfortable there? Do you want it to go to 16? I have a bad feeling at some point, way down the road, it's going to go to like 24. What's your feelings on that now?
I like the 12. I think we're going to see 16 real soon. I think you're going to see the whole bowls kind of just disappear, and you're going to have the 16. I think the 16 will be enough. You get enough of the side, the non-play. You'll have some good playoff games early enough. The buys that you're not going to have the blowouts, and then you'll get some decent second, third round game. But after 16, like you said, I think it just gets watered down too much. You're going to see too many teams, just lopsided games. I love college football. You don't want to see it watered down, but I love, growing up seeing good bowl games too.
Oh, yeah.
So I think you get to 16, you'll see those good bowl games like we used to watch, that are played. They were played, for teams to win, to take home that bowl trophy. You'll probably, you'll see that, and hopefully, with NIL, you'll keep kids around playing a little bit longer. You'll get the kids playing in those games instead of sitting out. These bowl games, some of them now, heck, you got third teamers playing there just so they can get in the portal and get some film. I mean, so it's crazy.
It's a whole new world now for sure. You're with the Sam Bourquin, Brian Beatty joining us here on the show today. 1310 WDPN, all of our social media platforms, WDPN on Facebook, X, Twitter, the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We're going to be with you until 6 o'clock. I have not seen one basketball coach walk through the doors yet, and it's 5:45. So we'll see what we can get here for you. Can't make any promises, but we'll see who's an early bird. We'll get them on here as soon as we can. Also want to remind you that during the season, we will be having Mount Union basketball here on 1310 WDPN. They're off to a 4-0 start, playing some great ball for Coach Feline. There will also be high school basketball on 1310 WDPN. A lot of the EBC teams will be on those broadcasts. I will be on Q92 this winter on 92.5 FM with my partner Lee Foster, courtside with Sammy B and Lee, high school basketball on Q92. We will be with you every Tuesday and Friday throughout the season. There'll be a couple of nights where we may not have games. because of Mount Union commitments or holidays or something. But most of the time, we'll be with you every Tuesday and Friday, and we'll take you all the way through the playoffs coming up in March. So kind of wanted to get that in there and let you know where you can follow us, what you can see, what you can expect as far as high school hoops coming up here in the very, very near future. Boy, what a ride it was for all of us last year. I mean, to get two teams to go all the way to the state championship, Louisville and Perry. Leopards brought the hardware home. Perry ran into a buzzsaw in Westerville North, but still had a great season. Brian, we may never see that again.
Yeah.
We may never see what we saw at the field house the week before. We may never see what we saw in Dayton with two teams from the county, one actually getting it done. It was a storybook year last year. It really was.
It's amazing. You know, people say there's so much luck that comes into it.
Oh, my gosh.
I remember our 07 football team. You know, we went to the finals, and we were a junior, sophomore base team, and everyone's like, oh, you'll be back next year. No.
It's hard.
We stopped the sales 3 times inside the 5-yard line. You know, there's luck, and it's so hard. So yeah, it was a storybook. You know, you just every night or every game you just watched with, you know, and just so much anticipation.
Yeah.
You know what was going to happen, who was going to make it, and so many players, you know, stepped up. You know, and Drachik for Louisville. You know, just names you didn't know, and just it was fun. It was great, and it's just. Like you said, it seems like it was yesterday, and now we're here, you know, kicking off another season.
It's
Those
ridiculous.
kids are, I think, Bo's about ready to kick off the season at Ashland. I think they're kicking it off tonight, actually, or tomorrow night. I just saw a post on that. So yeah, it goes quick, and they're ready to go. But yeah, it's fun. Yeah, we might never have anything like that, and hopefully we do. Let's have 3 of them down there this year.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that we got that all day, that triple header at the field house. Which was just as electric as a building as you're ever going to see. And what I also enjoyed was, you know, the longer and we've seen this before, the longer the tournament trail, the bigger the crowds get, the more support you get. I mean, I'm sure there were people from Louisville and Perry last year that hadn't seen a basketball in 15 years.
Yep.
But their team was making a run, and they wanted to be a part of it, and they came along, and gosh, the crowds were just, it was just so much fun. And I'm glad we got to see it and be a part of it because to win a state championship, I don't care what sport it is, it's so hard. You need to be really, really good. You need to create a little bit of luck.
Mm-hmm.
You need an unsung hero.
Yep.
You need to have senior leadership. You need to have support from everybody, the coach, the administration. Everything has to come together in the mixing bowl. Now, look, for some schools, it happens every year just because it is. But sometimes it takes that little special something for maybe a school or team that hasn't tasted that yet.
Yeah.
Man, we sure got that last year. And it was, oh, man, it was – I never thought I'd see it.
No, you look at
really
most of those programs. There's no D1 athlete. There's no 4-star, 3-star, or, you know, blue chippers on any of those rosters. It's just hard-nosed kids that went out and played basketball the right way, you know, and – that was fun. Yeah, there's no doubt. Excitement. So
I can't promise that'll happen again this year.
Yeah,
but we'll be with you all the way, and make sure you get your calendar set and get your ears ready to tune in for some great high school basketball between 1310 WDPN and of course Q92. Let's take a break, and we'll come back with more here from the Krassas Event Center. It's the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
My doctor said I could use something called a biosimilar. Then she told me what it is.
A biosimilar is a type of biologic medication. Just like brand name drugs have generic versions, original biologics can have biosimilars.
So I asked what the benefits are and if they work the same.
Biosimilars have the same safety, effectiveness, and quality as the original biologic. They also offer more medication options at potentially more competitive prices.
My doctor said I could learn more at fda.gov/biosimilars.
Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. We broadcast live from the Krassas Event Center here, a part of the St. Harlem's Church. It's big night tonight for the high school boys basketball preview here in Stark County. A couple of the coaches have wandered in. We're going to try to get a couple of them on the program. What we might do is our show will end on 1310 WDPN at 6. And depending on how many coaches come through, we will continue our show on the stream, and you can listen to it that way. Now, we won't be on there for long, but we may. We're just gonna play it by ear. All right, that's just what we're gonna do. So we'll be flexible here. I was kind of hoping more of the coaches would come in here around 5:30 or so, but only a couple here, and they are being they're doing some other stuff right now. So that's what the plan will be, depending on how many show up here and come in the next 15 or 20 minutes. Our show will end on the AM on the radio, but we will continue to go on the AM 1310 WDPN.com. So make sure you stay with us for that. I've got Brian Beatty out and about trying to corral a coach or two to come over so we can get to them, and we'll see how that goes. Our Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day, with as far as the Cleveland Browns and Shedeur Sanders is concerned, what was the main reason? What do you think the main reason? Who was most to blame for the performance by Shedeur Sanders yesterday? That is our poll question of the day. It is up. You can get those comments in. Do you think it was? I mean, should you put a lot of the blame on him? Should it be on Kevin Stefanski? Should it be on the front office? Should it be the offensive line, the receiving core, all of the above? I mean, who do you put the blame on there? For that, because he clearly did not look prepared. And going back to what we were talking about throughout the show about how the backups just don't get reps. They don't get reps with the first team during the week. It's like a rule, so to speak. And I think it's kind of silly that you wouldn't kind of break that rule a little bit and try to have somebody ready, because you're always one snap away from going to your backup quarterback. But it clearly looked like Shedeur Sanders had no idea what was going on when he got in the game yesterday. looking for some of your comments here on our social media platforms. Sam Shedeur stunk yesterday. That's on him, and it's also on this joke of an organization. Yeah. James says can't blame anybody. An injury happens. It's always going to be next man up. Al, my man up in Akron, says Jimmy Haslam is to blame. This is 100% on him. It was his pick. Then the blame goes to Andrew Berry for not shoring up the offensive line. You did nothing else to help your team. It doesn't matter how good of a coach you are. If you're not given the weapons and your hands are tied, you're going to get what you get, and that's what we've been getting. And I've said that all season long. Kevin Stefanski didn't wake up one day and forget how to coach. He just didn't. Okay, he is two-time coach of the year. He's very smart, but when your hands are tied and you're in this tank mode kind of thing, this is what you're going to get. Doug says no reps with the first team. Bad offensive line. The team spent the bulk of the time with Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. What team leaves the quarterback room with two rookies? That's an excellent point. Steve says, Sam, it's the coaches. They knew he could only perform as a pocket passer. They kept him on the bench to cover for it, and then it bit him in the rear end yesterday when Dillon Gabriel went down. And we don't even know what's going on with Dillon Gabriel yet. Officially, he had concussion. He's in concussion protocol. It was kind of a bizarre thing yesterday because you didn't hear anything. He went into the tent, and you didn't hear anything. And all of a sudden, you hear this roar from the crowd. And the next thing I know, the camera's on Shedeur Sanders, and he's coming onto the field at Huntington Bank Field yesterday. So I don't know what to believe. If Dillon Gabriel really did have concussion symptoms, what goes on in that blue tent, nobody knows. Or were they just looking? Was that the easiest way? And I think I might be onto something here. Was that the easiest way to get Shedeur Sanders into the game? And then if things don't go well, everybody kind of gets a pass because it was an injury thing. It's next man up. You're one play away. This wasn't like a benching. They didn't want it to look like a benching or whatever. So that's what kind of happened. And then Shedeur Sanders had to go in. I don't know if I don't know. But all I know is this football team is 2-8, and Shedeur Sanders looked no more prepared to play quarterback in the NFL than I do. And that's a problem. All right, so we are going to wrap things up here from the Krassas Event Center on 1310 WDPN. Give us a couple of minutes, and we will be back on the other side with the stream on AM1310WDPN.com. And I'm not sure how long we'll stay on. If there's not more coaches coming through, we'll kind of wrap things up, and you can be on the lookout for some stuff on social media later on. But for now, we're going to go. And we'll be back around on the stream. Stay with us here. It's the Sam Bourquin Show. Okay, we are back here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310, WDPN, streaming live, AM 1310, WDPN.com. There is Coach Wirtz. We welcome him to the program here at the Krassas Event Center as we get underway here with the 2025 high school boys basketball preview. Coach, congratulations once again. I know we talked on the phone when you got the job, and now here you are. How's life been treating you?
It's been good. It's been good. I've been preparing myself. I had mentioned this when I first came on air. I'm trying to get ahead on those 3 questions you asked there at the end to kind of throw me off. But
I won't do that to you today.
Thank
It's
you.
not a Thursday. You're lucky.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Transition's been well though, especially now that we're starting to get in the swing of things. Youth stuff's getting handled, so we're getting that running, and now we get to start focusing on the actual season and scrimmages, practices, games, all that good stuff. So
has it been a pretty wild whirlwind for you since you got the job? I know you came on with us maybe the day or so after you got hired, and then you go through a little bit of okay, take a deep breath. I'm the guy now. It's my show. It's my program. And then pretty soon you're thinking about scheduling. You're thinking about lifting and scrimmages and practice. And here we are. How has that gone for you?
It's been a huge turnaround. I give Coach Siegfried credit, and sometimes protecting us assistant coaches last year with some of the responsibilities that he had to handle, all the extra things he had to do. I've built a brand new level of respect for Coach Siegfried, not only on the court, but all those extra responsibilities that us as head coaches we now have to take on. So it's been different than as a JV coach, as a freshman coach, as an assistant. But now that I've kind of gone through it, I do confidently feel that I'm the best person for the job in terms of being ready, in terms of having the time that's required to make sure a program is able to continue their success.
So how excited are you to make this is your thing now? You're going to put your stamp on a program that, oh, by the way, just won a state championship a year ago, but now it's yours. How exciting is it?
Yes, super exciting. And even you mentioning it there, every time somebody kind of actually verbalizes that, it makes me have to process again, like, wow. I've told all my friends, like, it's crazy because, I took the job and now you're in charge of, 200 kids from second grade or kindergarten all the way up to seniors in terms of that. But it's exciting to know that I get to put my own stamp on it. And Coach Siegfried had kind of told me that, like, obviously he taught me a lot of great things, a lot of things and philosophies that I share with him. But he had mentioned to me when I had gotten the job, it's your time to put your own stamp on it. It's your time to do your own thing. This is your program and do with it as you will. But like I had said, a lot of those things that Coach Siegfried had done in terms of team basketball, playing the right way, competition, those are a lot of things that I want to keep in our culture. I want to keep in our basketball program and continue the success that generations of coaches and the last couple decades, our alumni have shown that, Louisville basketball can be something that the community can be proud of. It can be something that these people invest in, and it pays dividends. So.
Well, I know you're going to do a great job. It's going to be exciting. You're going to get a ton of support. You're going to have a lot of great kids that are going to play. I know your schedule is going to be really tough, and I don't know who you thank for that, but it is what it is. It'll get you ready for the tournament, and we will be following you all season long and catching up. And I appreciate you coming over.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go. That is Coach David Wirtz of the Louisville Leopards joining us on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. Of course, we're streaming all over on Facebook and X and the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. We're going to be catching up with Coach Matt Creamer of the Central Catholic Crusaders coming up here as soon as we pull Coach away from the. He's up looking at all the place settings. I don't. You know what he's probably trying to do? He's probably trying to rearrange the cards on the table. He's probably trying to play a trick on somebody. So we're going to ask him about that as he's coming over now. We'll put this headset on him. Welcome Coach in here to the show live here at the Krassas Event Center. 1310 WDPN and all of our social media platforms as we stream away. Coach C, how are you, sir?
Good, Sammy.
Good?
We live?
You're live.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
You're live.
Usually you count me down 3, 2, 1.
Oh no, we're live.
Good.
We're live.
I'm glad I didn't say anything bad.
Well, I was wondering what you were doing and I said, Coach is probably rearranging the play settings, trying to trick somebody. Is that what you were doing up there?
I wonder where Rick Harrison was, and
Not
Dr.
coming.
Peters says he's not coming.
Not
he
making it
has
tonight.
another engagement. I can't believe what that is.
All right, Coach. Let's talk a little CCC hoops. Since you have, is this the 10th year, 11th year, 12th year?
Year 13.
13. Oh my goodness. Well, I remember where I was the day that you told me that you had taken the job, and I thought, wow, I was so happy. And you've done such an incredible job with the program. They never got to won a district championship. You've got a handful of those. You have been to regional semifinals. You have been to regional championships. You have played an incredible schedule over the years. And just your thoughts on the program right now. Where does it stand for you on West Tusk and what you've been able to bring to the Central Catholic community?
Well, I appreciate those kind words. We got great kids, and we were able to change that culture 13 years ago. And you can look at that schedule I just handed you. I'll be talking about that tonight. But we've got some really tough opponents, and I think that's what I wanted to do when I went there. I did the same thing at Massillon and Lima Senior. When you're an independent, you got to go play good people. And you play good teams that are well coached. You raise the bar, the level of competition for your kids, and they want one of two things: they either learn how to fight and compete, or they just quit on you. And the kids at Central don't quit; they really get after it, and so we're really pleased about that.
What are you most proud of with what you've done with the program? Has it been maybe getting some kids to come out and play that maybe wouldn't have over the years? It's the increase in the toughness of the schedule. The fact that once they put the football helmets away, that used to be a rough period, but now it's like, hey, hoops is coming. Crusaders, they got a chance to go here, they got a chance to go there. What kind of stands out to you over the years?
I think the biggest thing is that the kids are willing to be coachable, and they're willing to be challenged. And I think that's one of the things that have made us, what we are, is that we don't have kids. We might be a small private parochial school, Division 5 now, and we're kids. Our kids play tough. They play up, and I think being an independent helps us do that. It lets me create the schedule I like. I mean, you're looking at that, and it's kind of crazy to think of that. We'll have 6, 8, 9 losses once in a while, but we'll get to the regionals. My 13th year now, we've been there 6 times in the regional. We want to get through it, and we've been at 8 times. We've been in the district final. I was runner-up twice, and sometimes I scratch my head. But the simple fact is that we plan for that. We developed that. Now we want to kick the door through at the regional and get through that regional, and we've had really great teams, Sammy, with good players, and our coaches do a great job. People come out and they do all kinds of good things. But what the thing is that you're going up against Cleveland Lutheran East and Richmond Heights all the time, and there's something there that just makes them pretty special because they get big time D1 players. We don't get those players. So
how do you knock that door down? I mean, that is an uphill battle. I've seen those games over the years. I've seen Richmond Heights for a long time. I've seen Lutheran East. I've seen Lutheran West. It seems like they're always going to be in the way unless something really crazy happens with the division alignment and everything. I mean, it's not like you're not scheduled up and prepared to play that competition, but what's it going to take on that field house floor to get over that hump?
Well, a couple things is you got to play almost a perfect game when you're looking at that level of competition against personnel. And if we do that, Sammy, 3 things got to happen. You got to shoot the ball well, you got to defend, and you got to keep those turnovers off the scoreboard. If you can do that and you stay with your shots, if you get hot, we're pretty tough to beat. We've got some good shooters and people that can put the ball in the hole. We lost an All-Ohio first-team player, Luke Velosky. He's now at Walsh. We had Jonathan Sorensen in the middle. He's playing football at Miami of Ohio. He's a redshirt, though. Easton Miller's at Otterbein playing well and he's actually run across country, and they won the OAC. But everything's good. We got kids coming back this year that have played 3 years of varsity basketball. You've had Dylan Minnie's in his third year. Lance Velosky's in his third year. Jake Bowling came in last year. He's there the second year and stuff. So, Tyler Cook's coming around. Will Meyer, the big 6'8" junior now, who's growing into his body and getting more comfortable with how he does things and what we have to do. And we've got kids that are good. I mean, we've got a sophomore class that's really good, a junior class, a senior class. So we're trying to develop and keep them all and keep them in the mood. And we do things in the offseason that makes it that much better. We go to Pittsburgh every year and play Pitt team camp. We go to Ohio State over the years, team camp. We've been to Michigan for team camp over the years. We go away and we travel and we do those things and we bond and become a better team and stuff. So, but I'm most proud of the simple fact that the kids come and compete every night and they're coachable. And I'm not easy to get along with. You probably know. You've seen me coach before, and I get after them, and they have to take it. And you know what? They do. And that's what I really appreciate.
Coach Matt Creamer of Canton Central Catholic, our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, the 2025 high school basketball preview from the Krassas Event Center, 1310 WDPN Q92 radio YouTube channel, X and Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else in between. All right, let's look at this schedule. Holy macaroni salad. You're not afraid to play anybody, and I appreciate that. And I know the kids probably they kind of like it too, though, because you want to be tested. You want to play the best of the best.
Well,
we're
at Camp McKinley 2 days or 3 days out of two times. December 28th, we're playing in that the Shot Clock Classic against Hamilton Township.
Oh, that's right.
And then we turn around on Tuesday and play the Pups.
Why not?
Hey, what the
not?
heck? Let's go play. See what happens.
You've got Warren Harding, who's always a good. You talked about Hamilton Township. Boardman's a good program. Fitch is a good program. Massillon, of course, St. Vincent, St. Mary, Hoban, Mooney. I mean,
we're kind of stupid.
Waynedale is a good program. Louisville, I know they lost a lot, but they're gonna
be
fine.
They'll have an upside. They'll have a bump up.
I mean, any thoughts of playing the Globetrotters or anybody like that? I mean, what else are you gonna put on?
No, I'll tell you, but that's what we do. And you know what? I'll never forget when I first went there. I had to change that schedule because it wasn't very good, and we did. But we were at our first district final my first year, and I remember my wife sitting in the stands and sitting there with somebody that we were playing Lisbon or something. Hey, how does this team lost 8 or 9 games? That's because we play up.
Right.
We were playing, most of those teams were Division I a couple years ago, and we've kept them on there. So we play up and we try to get those things done, and our kids do a good job.
Yeah, you do. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming over. I'll see you at the gym, and we'll see you around the county, okay?
Sammy, I need this. These are my notes.
I know you do. I was going to take them. See how I am.
I'll email you. But I appreciate you coming out tonight.
You got it.
What you do for high school sports in the whole county, and now that you're at 1310 Alliance, I love it. Listen to you driving home all the time when I can.
I appreciate it. We'll be doing Hoops on the Q this year, so we'll be over.
All right. Thanks so much, Sam.
There he is. Matt Creamer, the outstanding head basketball coach of the Crusaders of Canton Central Catholic, kind enough to spend a couple of time with us here on 1310 WDPN. So we talked to Coach David Wirtz of Louisville. We have talked to Coach C at Central Catholic, and I believe we're going to have Coach Rich Hart of Minerva. He is coming over. He's actually talking with Coach Matt right now. So this could be a 5-second conversation, or it could be a minute conversation. I don't know. Here comes Coach.
Yeah, we will.
How we doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
It's good to see you again. Here we'll go. We'll give Coach the headphones, and we welcome in Rich Hart of the Minerva Lions here to the Sam Bourquin Show. And we've had Coach Wirtz on from Louisville, Coach Matt, and now one of the true characters of Stark County and a terrific baskall mind, Rich Hart, head coach of the Minerva Lions. And here we go again. Are you ready? Are you excited? I bet the answer to that is both.
Yeah, I'm a true fossil, that's for sure. Yes, we're going to have to get this thing going because at 9 o'clock I got to be back to the nursing home.
Well, I might be right behind it. Who knows?
No, we've got a good group of kids. They really work hard, and makes it fun to coach because they they listen and they just play hard. And but that's I've been very fortunate in all the years that I've been in Minerva that that's how our kids play. They just play hard and they they give it all they have, and they really they work hard in the off season. So it's very refreshing to
Yeah,
go
and
in
it's
there every day.
how is it to? Do you like keep track of the kids during the off season? I know you can only do so much with them between the seasons, and as far as working out and shooting and open gyms and things like that. I mean, we know how it is now, Coach. In 2025, a lot of it's 365. If you're going to, be on one certain sport, they devote a lot of time to that. But how do you kind of manage that, and also let kids be kids and grow up, and they're making friends and studying and all that stuff that's going on?
We encourage them. I was so happy some of our guys played football, and then our football team had success this year. And so that makes the whole town happy. So they don't really care what we do now. We won in football, so we're good. But that's I try to go watch them in all their events, and I was down at the state cross country meet because we had three or four of our guys in there, and that's how I mainly stay in touch with them by going to watch what they're involved in.
When do you start to get the bug to start a new season? I know you probably try to decompress a little bit, but when are you really ready to go and roll the balls out there and put the whistle around your neck again?
My wife says never.
Never.
So she's probably right. I'm, and that's the only reason I'm still doing it is I still enjoy it, and it's still, it's still a passion.
When did you get that? Like the whole the basketball bug, I guess. When did that hit you? Were you a youngster, or when did that hit you?
I think part of it was I loved basketball, and I was in Northern Kentucky on a baseball scholarship. And but I got hooked up with the basketball team, and I would play in their summer leagues with them, and then the head coach would play every day at noon, and I'd go play with them, and he just beat the crap out of me. He was 6'8" from the Naval Academy, but I was a baseball player, so I didn't really care because I'd beat him right back, and then he gave me the opportunity to coach, and that's how I got started. Well, he said I had an opportunity to play my senior year, and then he fired an assistant. He goes, "You want to coach or play?" And it's probably the only rational decision I made in college.
You know what? Because you never know when an opportunity is going to present itself, and you got to take it. You certainly did it, and you ran with it. Gosh, you had so many great kids, so many great players go through the Minerva program, if you will. And I go back to I was an '88 graduate of Canton Central, and so I got to kind of watching up close with guys like Blair Bowman and Andre Norman and guys like that. You guys had some incredible basketball teams and so much fun to watch. And Minerva was the hottest ticket in town, man. The gym was just overflowing. And you ever sit back and think about some of those days and how cool that was for you and family and everybody involved?
It was so much fun. The first guy I walked into was Brock Dreyer, who was on my very first team. And, those guys, they got the ball rolling. And because we scored our second game, we got people in the stands because we scored 110. And from that point on,
oh my goodness,
it was hard to get in. You had to get there early. And but that just and Minerva's always been a special place because, to tell you the truth, I had got my principal's certificate and decided I was going to be done. And they go, don't try. Donnie Spinell goes, "Hey, Minerva's open. Just throw your hat there." I said, "I'll get one more shot." And then I had, great administration, and they treated me. It's just amazing how I've been treated all these years, and it's, it just rejuvenated me.
Yeah. Coach, how important is that? You mentioned the administration. I know we've had some teams in the area that have won some state championships in basketball over the decades. And look, you can have the most talented team. You can have great coaching. You got to sprinkle a little luck in there too.
Yes.
But if you don't have the full buy-in and support from the administration, it's probably not going anywhere, is it?
No, and I've had some great superintendents, and they've all done nothing but back you, and that's all you can ask for, and then it's up to you.
Do you have a favorite memory of a game or favorite game all time in your coaching career?
But one of the funnest ones was we played Triway when they were 1 or 2 in the state, and there was no newspaper because they were all at the field house watching Jackson Hoover because they thought Triway was going to blow us out, and then.
Oh, that's right. So the Federal League game was downtown, right?
Yeah.
And you guys were at the field house.
Yeah, we were at the field house, and the whole place was, purple with state-bound shirts, and here we come in, and we'd all, we weren't chopped liver. We'd won 14 or 15 games that year. That was the year after, we had the big run.
Yeah.
But we still had Craig Rogers and Scott Cassidy.
Craig Rogers is a guy I couldn't remember.
6'10", and we upset them. And they had to come and do an interview at school with us the next day because they weren't there.
Should have told them that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. One more before we let you go. The field house. What isn't there to love about that building?
Oh, that was the greatest atmosphere to play in ever, and I think we've lost a great venue, and those games were just special. I mean, you could see people from all over the place there at every game, and it was always packed, and the kids just, that was their, they just couldn't wait to play there.
Yeah, it was. I get chills just thinking about it. I mean, there's no better building in the world.
We've definitely missed by going the direction we're going.
Yeah,
because that was so special for this whole community.
Yeah, I agree. Coach, I appreciate you coming over. Best of luck to you, and we'll see you around the basketball arena, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. There you go. Rich Hart from the Minerva Lions joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN, and streaming live at all of our, you bet. Thank you. And we're going to continue here as long as we've got the coaches rolling in. So let's see. We got Coach Creamer is in. We've had Rich Hart. We've had David Wirtz. And I think now, here he comes. There he comes. My man, how are you? Oh, it's good to see you too. There he is. Have you put those on there, my friend? That is, of course, Coach Spoon of the Camp McKinley Bulldogs. Well, the last time we caught up was in front of the Hall of Fame. Right before the big McKinley-Massillon game. And now we're getting ready to talk some hoops, and this is your time to shine and get out there on that beautiful field house floor and throw the balls out there and let it rip. How's things going now, and what are you looking most forward to?
Going good. Unfortunately, football team, dropped one on Friday, so we're getting those guys back this week. Trying to get acclimate those guys as well as some guys who've been out with a couple injuries. Excuse me. But for the most part, pretty good. Pretty good. Had 2 scrimmages, played pretty well. Knows what we have. So looking forward to what we got in the coming weeks.
Who have you guys scrimmaged so far?
First scrimmage, it was a mega scrimmage up in Cleveland. We played Lutheran East. We played Bedford, Twinsburg, and Andrew Osborne Academy.
Okay.
It was a very good day. Seeing a lot of different styles of basketball. And then this past Wednesday we went to Shaker Heights, played them, as well as John Hay and Mayfield. So another tough one coming up on Thursday at Garfield Heights. And then finish up on this Saturday with Elyria coming down, Strongsville, and Hawkins. So
wow.
Look forward to it.
Not messing around.
No.
You're getting right to it.
Yep.
And that'll prepare you. You know that. You have the Federal League grind. You'll have your great non-conference games, which we talked about earlier. It kind of gets you in that tournament atmosphere early in the season. You see what you got. Who, as of now, is returning for you? Maybe Letterman starters, whatever. Is there a guy or two that might be sneaking up the chart for you a little bit?
Yeah, we return a lot. Really got to replace Reed Sims and Jalen Jeter, Keith Quincy. But we got Davey Thompson coming back. A 3-year starter at point guard. This year will be Anthony Shavers as a guard forward for us. Ed Webster returns. Javion Carter returns. Then we got some guys that came off the bench last year. Some pretty good JV guys coming up as sophomores this year. Major Cheek, Legacy Lee, and Jalen Elder. We got a transfer that came in, 6'8", Jamar Keys. Will help us out a lot. So, I honestly probably my deepest team from top to bottom, since I've been here. I'm very excited. We can play multiple lineups. different styles of basketball. Hopefully everything comes together and we can be successful.
Yeah, and I know expectations are it's Camp McKinley, right?
Right.
And I had the chance to listen to Ronnie and Troy at the Hall of Fame Luncheon Club today, and I remember growing up watching those guys play when I was little, and there's always been something special about the Camp McKinley basketball program. How far do you think this group can go?
I think we got a pretty high ceiling. If everything comes together the right way, everything falls in line for us. We continue to gel and play basketball. Like I said, going to be a different style. With the pieces we lost from last year. But if we do the right things, I think we definitely have a chance to be down in Dayton.
Is this I always like to ask coaches, how the kids are. And some coaches, I've got a very coachable group. You have a coachable group this year, and they're ready to hit the wall for you.
Absolutely. Like I said, we got a lot of guys who've been in the system with us since I came back. So they know the standard, they know the expectation on a daily basis. Like I said, acclimating the new guys that came in. But I think these guys are hungry. They understand what's in front of them. They understand how far we got last year, and they want to go further.
All right. Always a pleasure, my man. Great to see you. Thank you. Sean Weatherspoon, head coach of the Pups, and we'll be seeing a lot of the Bulldogs this year. Courtside with Sammy B. and Lee on Q92. We'll be at the field house. We'll be following all the teams again this year, and looking forward to it. Last year was wild. 2 teams going to the state championship game in our county. Hopefully we can do that again this year. We will step aside. We'll come back and start to put a wrap on things here on the show from the Krassas Event Center, 1310 WDPN, Q92 Radiosports.com. Stay with us. Coach, how are you? I think this will be it. This will be the last one. Yep. All right. We've, who we got today? We talked to Central's Matt Kramer. We talked to Spoon from McKinley, Richard from Minerva. We had Coach Wirtz on from Louisville. And now I think this is a good way to end it. Coach Matt Vall of the Perry Panthers coming off that state championship trip a year ago down to Dayton. First of all, Coach, again, another congratulations, a heartfelt congratulations on the magical run that was. I know that's kind of in the rearview mirror for you, but wow, what does it feel like now getting ready to turn the page?
Well, when you do stuff like that, it multiplies. It multiplies your program, multiplies your kids. We have enough dividers out there and that we come across. And when you have a lift like that, and those lifters do wonderful things, and it kind of inserted some enthusiasm for our kids. Our young kids have bought in, and it's night and day, really, to be honest, for the start of our season this year. Not that the first 2 groups didn't work at it or anything like that. Sure. They were great, but it just the whole thing is just starting to click more and more.
Yeah. So as you prepare for another season coming off of what you did, I guess what are the expectations with returning starters, returning lettermen, the experience that they got, but that it is a new year. It's kind of a new group, and everything kind of starts over again.
Absolutely, and we want to form our own identity. We're going to do everything we can in the process to give us the most success as possible, and we want to maximize our potential and go from there. And that's just it. It's just focus day by day, and whatever those outcomes are, so be.
How's the scrimmage season going for you so far?
We have two down, and we got 3 to go. So I feel really good about where we're at this point. We're going to be a little different. We're a little quicker. We're going to be a little bit more full court dynamics, but it's been good, and the kids have been very receptive.
Returning starters and returning lettermen. Who's putting the black and gold back on?
I got one returning starter, Nico Martelli, and Mike Haley had some varsity starts as well. And those are our 2 returning lettermen. We had Trey Robinson, who played at St. Thomas Aquinas last year. He lettered over there, so he's back. And so probably three lettermen.
All right, and we know the Federal League's going to be a grind. Who's on the non-conference list for you this year?
Oh shoot, Massillon, always a tough one. Louisville.
You guys play Central again, right?
We have Central.
So
There's another good one. Couple schools over in Youngstown area, Cheney, Fitch, Boardman. We open up with Warren JFK. So overall it's always a grind, and the Federal League, as we know, is always a grind.
All right, Coach, we appreciate you coming over. We'll see you around the gym, okay?
Thank you.
There you go, Matt Vall, head coach of the Perry Panthers, as they get ready to make another run. I know it's different. Kids come and go, but man, the excitement from a year ago, and you never know. You sprinkle a little luck in there with hard work, you never know what's going to happen. All right, that's going to wrap things up here from the Krassas Center. Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, streaming Q92. Radiosports.com. Don't forget to join us all season long, courtside with Sammy B. and Lee on 92.5 FM. We will bring you a ton of high school basketball every Tuesday and Friday during the basketball season. Going to sign off for now. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 on 1310. Have a great night, everybody. So long.